My laptop. What happened to my laptop?
Eternals could have been built as a television show. Very easy. This is my premise. Ready? So I'm going to give you 10 episodes. So through the 10 episodes, basically you have all of these different characters. Like if you break the characters down, there's several characters that are together, even though there's like 9 main characters. You could have easily broke it down into like maybe 4 to 5 episodes as the first arc of this, which is let's get to know everybody. You could have did Icarus, and I forget the main girl with the green on what
the fuck is her name? Shit, I forgot myself. And my laptop's not working.
Your laptop's not working?
Yeah, I'm like technical difficulty. As soon as you hit record, my fucking laptop like froze. I'm like, what is going on right now?
What, you set it or something?
Yeah, I'm resetting it now.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Icarus was the guy, right? No.
Icarus guy. So anyway, Icarus and the main girls, their relationship could have been in episode 1, because essentially those were sort of the main people, and then you could have been slowly introduced to the other characters, and as time went on, you could have easily had all of the different like character development moments and character relationships, like Gilgamesh and Athena, which was Angelina Jolie's character, big guy. You could have had their relationship fleshed out. You could have had an episode where you talked about the villain and like how things got to the way it is. And then probably by like episode 3 or 4, that would have been the moment where what happened with Fastos, which is Paperboy, Brian Tyree Henry, I think his name is. And at that moment when like him creating weapons and stuff for humanity failed. And if you remember in the movie, he separated himself from them for a while. So episode 1 through 4 to 5 is that build up to the breakup of the Eternals. And then finally, what happened in the beginning of the movie, which was the thing where they were trying to build and bring everybody back together, is where you go with that middle arc of like between 5 and episode 5 up to like episode 9, and then you do the build up of all of these different characters and continue with the relationship. You go with we got to go around and get all the people to try to build up. Probably by like episode 8 or 9 is where you get the twist with like Icarus and turning out that, oh no, he's not with them. And then boom, that all leads up to the final battle, which is an epic battle that happens in episode 10. Easily. Like you can break the whole fucking movie down into those bits and pieces that will give you a longer period of time, a 10-hour movie to tell you the backstory of these different characters.
Like I can say maybe that could have helped it.
Well, the thing too for me is that, like, again, I'm not one of those whiny bitches like you who are gonna just sit there and go like, I don't like Eternals because
Eternals. I didn't like it because it was super slow paced.
Which again, you could do in a
Cersei, by the way. How the hell did we forget that? Cersei.
That's okay. You could have easily just did that same similar pacing to a show and just build up some moments that make it faster. Because that movie did have lag moments and then it had build up moments, which can work in an hour. If you sat there for an hour and it had a little bit
I feel like that's the only thing that kept us as an audience, because I feel like the second, like the way that movie went, it was like you were interested and you were like, the second that you're getting too tired, then something interesting happens. There's something. It was like that. That's kind of how the whole movie was. Like,
I think personally for me, an hour of TV, because as a guy who didn't watch the entirety of fucking Game of Thrones, from bits and pieces that I've shown, there's a bunch of fucking talking that happens in that show.
That show is very dialogue heavy.
Very dialogue.
But a lot of it is important dialogue though. Like if you don't pay attention, you won't know what the fuck.
That's why I personally think that Eternals could work as it could have worked as a television show, because
Game of Thrones, I tell you, even Game of Thrones, they didn't have me till like the 9th episode. 9 episodes in, I was like, this is okay. It wasn't till the 9th when they killed off a major character that I thought was gonna be out this whole show. Like, oh shit, did they just kill my man? Like he ain't coming back. We gonna make sure beheaded Like, oh shit.
It ain't no coming back from that one.
Oh, and then you know what? If you ever decide to watch Game of Thrones, you gotta watch the first season. You gotta watch the first season just for Joffrey. Is it the first or second? I think it's the first and second. You just gotta watch those for Joffrey because I feel like that show had some villains that were just on a whole nother level of fucking what the fuck. Joffrey. Not only did they fucking kill fucking Ned Stark, which is not a secret, this shit's been out for years. Not only did they kill Ned Stark, but this motherfucker put his head on a pike and then had his own daughter. Like, yeah, he was a stupid son of a bitch, was he? Like, yeah, he was stupid. Like, yo, and then he's mimicking him, like, and I'm in front of his kids. I'm like, yo, what type of psychological damage is being done right now?
I'm telling you, man, like it was that's definitely a series at some point I will definitely check out, but there's just way too much content to
but you know what's funny? When you do decide to do it, we can do a segment that I like to call What the Fuck, because there's a lot of what the fuck moments on that show.
I'm totally fine with doing a what the fuck on that show. Speaking of what the fuck, I felt like in a good way what we got this week was a what the fuck trailer in terms of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That was absolutely wonderful. What
did we? Did we? Yo, I'm terrible with remembering dialogue, but I know in the beginning he said like something about like he kept having the same reoccurring dream, and then he wakes up, and then the nightmare begins. So I'm like, yo, that was like some powerful ass shit right there.
Which to me is like kind of an interesting. It's very interesting in him saying that, because that's the beginning of the trailer, and he talks about a reoccurring dream that he has, and then he wakes up, and then the nightmare begins. Which is, if you pay attention to that dialogue, what that says to me is that so what they're showing you in the trailer is misleading. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys who have been breaking this thing down. Do not read into trailers. I'm going to tell you for maybe the 20th time in watching a Marvel movie, do not read too much into the trailers.
I don't, yeah. I think out of all the Marvel movies that came out in the last few years, this one has a fuck ton of stuff going on. And one thing is the different versions of Doctor Strange. It's like, I'm guessing throughout going through these multiverses, he's going to meet different versions of himself as well, more than just like the bad guy one that we saw before. Because did you notice they had the other one that had the really long ponytail with the streaks? That was like Fallen with America Chavez.
I have a theory on that. So my thought process for that is simple. I personally feel like we only get 2 Doctor Strangers in this movie. And not including the main one. We get 2 other ones. We get the What If one, which is the darker one, but I think we also get that Defender Strange with the ponytail. Now, the darker one that we saw there was another one that was like a zombie version of him. But if you pay attention to the outfit, the zombie one is the same one as the one with the ponytail. So that tells me at some point in that movie that Defender Strange is going to die.
And I'm gonna just throw this out here just because I'm just getting goosebumps even thinking about it. Because Marvel has just given us so much dope shit over the years. I'm like, I wouldn't even, just because, we know at this point with Marvel trailers, this how much you getting. You seen a trailer with a fuck ton of stuff. That's still only this much. Still small. Like, we're dealing with multiverses, right? And we see Doctor Strange falling. What if if this shit happens, I might just walk out the theater. What if Doctor Strange falls into the fucking What If cartoon? What if they have this motherfucker like Benedict Cumberbatch? If he go into that world in the fucking movie, if he's going to the different movies, I'm done. I'm walking out because these guys are just like some of the most creative motherfuckers on the planet.
Not really that like impossible, considering the fact that if you remember that episode, he actually did meet the other Doctor Strange already. They already met in the cartoon.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they do it in the movie, man. Come on, man. They just experimenting like crazy now.
Well, I guess you better get yourself ready, because if you go back and watch the trailer, you slow it down to the moment where America Chavez and Doctor Strange, you see Doctor Strange's face literally unraveling into like block pieces. If you slow that down, which I've watched this trailer a million freaking times to prepare for the show, but also just because I love this stuff. But if you slow it down, there is a panel right below his feet that shows that cartoon there, right there. It's not even a surprise. It's right there.
That's even. That's it. I swear, I'm sitting in the theater, and it's like animated him and animated Chavez. I'm just be looking around like, yo, this shit really happening right now. This is fucking crazy.
And I also sorry to burst your bubble there, but America Chavez for the Marvel world in terms of being like a moving thing and not on a piece of paper, she already has a cartoon called like Avengers Rising, which
yeah.
So would it be so weird to see her animated? No, we've already seen her animated like twice already. You can watch those.
But I mean like in the movie. You know what I mean? Like this, and they're doing stuff that's in conjunction with what's going on in the movie. That's what I mean.
Well, yeah, we already know now because we see this Doctor Strange, and if you guys
kind of like Michael Jackson and Moonwalker, like you know how he was going through different things. Well, actually, yeah, holy shit, that really happened. Holy shit, in Moonwalker when he was going through different versions of stuff.
Yeah, that goes all the way back to the Roger Rabbit days of combining live action and animation and stuff like that.
Oh, wait, and there was something that happened with recently too. What the fuck was that? Holy shit! Now you just put that in my head. I don't even fucking remember. I'll remember it as we're talking. But it was like a commercial or something that came up, and it had Roger Rabbit, it had Paula Abdul, and the fucking cat she was dancing with. What was that from? I don't even remember.
Maybe it was a Super Bowl. I'm not sure, but could have been a Super
something.
But yeah,
I have to look that up.
That's cool. But I mean, to me, there's so much stuff to sort of bring out from this trailer, which is like you got like just talking about Doctor Strange. I think that just from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like there's 3 Doctor Stranges, and not including the like Necropolis Doctor Strange. I'll give you my theory of what I believe is going on here, right? So I believe that like if anybody paid attention in the trailer, when he's talking about the dream sequence, there's America Chavez is trapped by some like tentacle thing, and behind her is the giant star that she uses to travel through her dimensions, right? The thing is holding her up, and then it screams in her face, and they use that as a sign of the nightmare that Doctor Strange is having, which is not true. That's not the nightmare. He's not having a nightmare. He's saying there's a nightmare when he wakes up, and to me, what that says to me is that there's some shit going on that like it's with him. It's never fucking ending. If you really go back and look at like he's died and come back and went to the astral plane and fucking had to fix fucking Spider-Man situation by like trying to hold the multiverse together, and like he's had nothing but just a long
if you pause that for a second though, that part was his own damn fault. Juan told him not to do that, but he decided to do it anyway.
Well, yeah, he trusted this kid to basically stay still and not say nothing. Which
him and Aunt May fucked up in that movie. Yeah, 2 people fucked up. Aunt May said, maybe we could change these bad guys into good guys. She died, guys. Like, what the fuck? It didn't work.
It worked out.
And then Doctor Strange is like, I can't hold it together. It's like, motherfucker, this is your fault. When Spider-Man came to you, you should have been like, yo, here's what I'm going to tell you to do, kid. I know a good therapist. I'm going to give you his number and then take it easy. Credits.
I figured the shit out of
happen.
For me, you just reminded me of that. Fuck, I cannot. You know what? I'm also mad at the people at Marvel who keep taking down all the clips that people put up there of one of my favorite scenes from No Way Home, which is one of my favorite scenes is featuring Green Goblin. And I'll give you like a little piece of reenactment of it because it's just beautiful, which is like he's looking around. Peter's looking around. He's trying to figure out why is the spider sense going off? And then he finally figures it out, whips across the room, catches fucking Green Goblin's arm on there. That spider sense of yours. Yo, that shit is amazing. Yo, I don't watch that shit so many times.
I'm like, yo, why did they trust this guy?
Spider sense.
They never should have trusted this man.
Wait. My favorite line, which is like Doc Ock goes like, Norman? He's like, Norman's on sabbatical. Like, yeah, he's a fucking G. Willem Dafoe, I praise you with all of your Green Goblin goodness, man. Tell you, man, that shit is it's just I cannot wait to hold this movie in my hand. Like, I know I'm a stream it on fucking Disney.
He gonna be like, I got tears in my beard, guys.
In my beard, I can't. Like, it's just tears too much. Beard. But going back to Doctor Strange, so if you pay attention into the trailer, we're just breaking down the trailer for you guys. America Chavez looks like she's in trouble, right? Now, if you pay attention to the backgrounds, it's very important if you're going to break down some of these things. You got to pay attention to the backgrounds because the backgrounds change, but a lot of it are different scenes. So they're like basically the same scene that's cut out of different places. So it looks to me like something in the other zone has America Chavez. That shit has trapped her. And basically it looks to me like the villain of this movie is, I can't remember the freaking thing's name, but I believe it's Cthulhu, right? So I'm gonna just say
I read somewhere too that you talking about the thing with the eye.
Yeah, the thing that screams in the face.
I thought you were talking about the eye because I know I read somewhere that they changed the name of that thing because of the rights, like of the person who created it or something. So it doesn't have the same name from the comics, something like that. And the movie version isn't gonna have the same name because they didn't pay him royalty. They didn't pay him royalties, so they can't use his actual name.
Where did you read that?
No, I saw it in a video. I think it was. I want to say it was the Nerdist.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take your word on it in terms of what that. But now I'm not talking about him. No, I'm not talking about Shuma Garoff. No, that's not what I'm talking. Okay. Go back to the beginning of the trailer, right?
No. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about like the mummy wrappings. I know who you're talking about.
Mummy wrappings. The mummy wrappings. I personally think that people are aware of America Chavez. And Doctor Strange is basically going to keep away from these very fucking dangerous entities that want America Chavez, because America Chavez has a very dangerous power for villains of other dimensions. So basically, if you were a powerful dark being from either something like the Darkhold, like Cthulhu is, or like Dormammu, who's trapped in a fucking place, or Shuma Garoff, who's trapped in a place, or some other like nightmare, you're some other entity that's trapped in another place that if you came to Earth, you would rule it in a snap of a finger. And you've found a person who has the ability to just take you like Nightcrawler from your dark dimension and bring you here.
You'd be unstoppable. You could go across fucking multiverses, just take all them shits over.
You could essentially rule whatever multiverse that you wanted to, because no one would be able to, in that multiverse, could stop you, basically. So that's my pitch. That's not my pitch. That's my theory for this movie. My theory for this movie is the multiverse of madness is, and then on top of that, let me just take this shit Sunday.
Now I wonder what Amanda. I want America. I wonder what she's looking for, because I feel like every hero has their own journey, which is like, I didn't mean to make it sound like that, but everybody has their own journey when we come into these movies. So I wonder if she has that ability in the movie, I wonder what she's actually trying to do, because she's probably trying to do something totally different, and she's probably gonna accidentally find these fucking bad guys that are looking for her.
I don't know what she's doing. Now, the thing is that I would like to know, and this is something that, guys, listen, there is no secret unless you're just not paying attention and you don't have a pair of glasses or something like we do. You're not, if you're not paying attention, at this point, with America Chavez coming around, we have now basically completed the appearance of all the fucking Young Avengers. They've all been shown. Everybody. Now, here's a little thing that I want you to pay attention to that I think is also going to be very interesting when it comes to them showing you something that you don't realize is going to come up again, but it is going to be something important, right? So if you remember, do you remember, I know it happened a while ago, so if you don't, it's fine. I'll say it. But do you actually remember how WandaVision ended? What, like the after credit scene? Do you remember what happened like in the after credit scene of WandaVision?
Wanda was going through that book that what's her name had, the Agatha.
It's called the Darkhold. Yes.
So she was like studying. She was like, well, her regular self was doing something else, but she was like studying the book.
Correct. Now, yes, she was studying the book, but something happened. Like she's studying the book, and something happened. Something called out to her, which was her kids.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Her kids called out to her in the last part, which is like, mom, and then she looks, and then it goes blank. Go back and watch it. I've seen it like a million times.
I gotta watch that. I'm like, I don't remember that. I mean, it's been a while. So
now here's where I'm gonna say this is how writing is good, and we don't even pay attention because we don't know that these things are all interconnected as this beautiful universe. When was the last time we heard of a loved one that wasn't around calling out to us and we decided to go on a journey to try to free this person from wherever they are?
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Correct. Now, what did that turn out to be? Some dark...
not to be what the fuck you thought it was. And the shit killed him.
There is, like you see, there is in the trailer, there are two Wandas in this movie. There's the Wanda that is it's basically like the Scarlet Witch costume is basically like a facade that she puts on. That
is it almost like the same thing like the Phoenix? Like, is it, like when the Phoenix gets unleashed, it's like,
I believe that the MCU is going to turn Wanda into fucking Jean Grey. She is the Jean Grey of the situation. She has been inhabited by something that's more powerful than she could ever imagine. And they realize that she is in tune with this. So she's a perfect match to this really dark entity, which is like, something that's taking hold of her. The real Wanda is the one that you see in like sweatpants and a fucking shirt with a cut on her face. That's
what it is? I know what take over her. It's Mephisto.
You know what? I'm not even gonna rule him out.
It'd be like be in the theater like, I told you it was Mephisto.
You know how many people in the theater are gonna pop if Mephisto just show up for anything? Like Mephisto! Pop! People can bust it.
Just because some fans have been drooling to get this guy, when they finally reveal him, it has to be a scene where like somebody's like, so what's your name? And he's like, well, people who know me best know me as Mephisto. Has to be something like that. So we could be like,
crazy, but I think we're gonna get him, and people are gonna be really excited. And maybe, I mean, to be honest, this is a perfect movie, in my opinion, for him to come around because we're dealing with a bunch of like dark entities, and that's literally what he is. He's basically the Satan of the Marvel. I was
thinking maybe this is a movie too that's gonna show the strength of Doctor Strange, but I could be wrong. That could be the third one. Sometimes in superhero movies, that ain't the second one. That's the third one. So I don't know.
Ultimately, what I'm gathering from this movie, right? What I'm gathering from this movie is that I personally think Doctor Strange is going to fail in this movie, right? He's going to fail.
And then don't forget Loki. Like, we'll see if Loki ties into this at all with what happened, and if that has any type of connection to it.
Well, that's funny you should bring that up because I do believe that there is a connection. So there has been a constant number of people who have run out and made the price of the superior Iron Man go up because they think that the person that's fighting Wanda in the trailer is the superior Iron Man. And then if you look at it and you go back and somebody looked at like an 8K trailer and they pulled it up and they looked at the lips and that looked like a black dude. And now,
I mean, for me too, I thought that too, and that's only because I know that Iron Man's part of the Illuminati. So who's to say that in another dimension, it's not Tony Stark, but somebody else. And I think you were saying it the other day, it'd be hilarious if it was Tom Cruise, just because we know that years ago he was like one of the choices they were first thinking to cast as Iron Man. That would be hilarious if it was Tom Cruise.
I just feel like we're gonna wind up getting something really simple. Like I think so here's where I look at so now that we're talking about the Illuminati part of this, like in the trailer, guys, we got the voice of fucking Patrick Stewart that came up and said something which blew everybody's mind, because we're like, holy shit, we're getting somebody from the Fox universe.
First trailer watch, I was like, is that Patrick Stewart? I was like, yo,
in it. Now the thing is that just let's not forget that Marvel likes to fuck with us. This is the second appearance in a Marvel property of somebody from Fox. Do you remember the first one? Because she was in WandaVision.
I was gonna say Ralph Boner.
Ralph fucking Boner. And we thought he was Quicksilver, and they were doing.
I still don't rule that out. I mean, I don't know. They could be pulling a fast one on us, and he really is.
He's not. Ralph Boner's not fucking Quicksilver. Like that's not Quicksilver. But the thing, because they've already confirmed it's not Quicksilver. But the thing is that they could also be doing something like in terms of the group of, let's say for instance, the group of people let's say the Illuminati is not even the fucking people that they meet up with, because I feel like everybody's speculating, but I know that I'm 100% certain that there are two people that are on that council or on that group of people that's there. There's two people, Patrick Stewart and Mordo. And the reason why is that if you go back there and look, the dude that walks past has a sword in his fucking like back, and they literally show, once again, pay attention to the backgrounds. They literally show Doctor Strange fighting with this nigga in the hallway with the fucking sword. And I'm just like, so let me get this straight. And again, this is fan theories. My fan theory is that Mordo has come to Doctor Strange, and the Mordo that has this long hair is not the Mordo that we know from the MCU. It's another Mordo
that was sucking people's energy till they die.
I don't think it's him. I think this is another one that has basically been like working with them and has been approached to bring Doctor Strange to this group of folk. And I think he's going to go and bring this group of folk to him. Doctor Strange is going to resist because Doctor Strange is an asshole. And then they're going to fucking capture him and they're going to bring him before for the council. And basically, like, he's going to be real confused. Like, what the fuck do you want with me? Like, I got shit I already got going on. And then they go like, well, what do we do with him? Like, he's already like done this and that, this and the other. And then Patrick Stewart just goes like, maybe we should just tell him the truth and see, like, enough time. Like I already like Patrick Stewart's approach, which is smarter than everybody. Rather than sit here and keep lying to people, just fucking tell them what's going on.
Yeah, like let's just tell this motherfucker what's going
on. I'm talking about a show that you're currently watching that could have that could have solved a lot of fucking problems throughout the 16 seasons of Supernatural. Just tell the motherfucker what the fuck is going on, and you won't have to keep worrying about all the shit you're dealing with.
Oh yeah, everybody's keeping so many. Everybody keeps so many fucking secrets. Like they found out, like, wait, if you have the red cut on your arm, you're gonna turn into Satan on the 12th. And then the episode ends like, he got the mark. Do I tell Dean? Nope. Let's go on.
Wait, are you? I'm just trying to ask you, are you at that point in the show, the Mark of Cain? Because that's a real thing.
Oh, really? Oh, shit, I'm just making that up. No. I'm literally just about to finish the second season. I'm nowhere near finishing this show.
The Mark of Cain, I was going to say, like, that's like season 5 or 6.
I'm also watching like a bajillion different shows, so that's why it's taking me. Because I'm watching that. I'm watching Dexter. I'm watching Doctor Who, reruns of Martin. Like...
As long as they're doing something to serve you as entertainment and whatever, that's the important thing.
I always watch Martin, old episodes of Martin every night before I go to bed because that show is hilarious.
So my speculation on this again is that I believe that Wanda's role in this movie is going to come in the space of like Doctor Strange in the trailer comes to her asking her like what her thoughts of the multiverse. Now, clearly he's aware of her power. Like her power is before he doesn't know about the whole Scarlet Witch shit in the Darkhold. What he does know about is Scarlet having some form of magical ability. So him being a magic user himself, he has a strong sense of respect for her and admiration of her.
And then what to piggyback off what you were saying, I'm thinking, yeah, it seems like he's going to bring her in to help her with something else. And then she finds out about America Chavez and her abilities to do what? And she's thinking to what she could use those for. It's probably going to make this shit worse. Like, yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing like Spider-Man. Like, all right, she just comes and does what Doctor Strange asks her. This shit probably could be nipped in the bud simple. But she probably going to, like, fuck him over and take Chavez and then haul ass somewhere else. Like, what the fuck? Now I got to, like...
It now becomes a matter of, like, I can go through these different... Like, you also have to think, too, you are talking about somebody who is given the ability... So, from my understanding of Wanda, the only person in the MCU right now that is aware, and maybe I'll say a 1% chance, maybe Doctor Strange, but the only person right now in the MCU who is aware of variants is, well, I guess two people, Peter Parker, Peter Parker during his new adventure, and Loki. And if that's said, think about this for a second. If you were to lose somebody that was really important to you, and you had the ability, or you knew somebody who had the ability to take you to another place where this person existed, would you do? What would you?
Yeah, I would.
I find it hilarious that if this movie is like that, then all I'm gonna say is that once again, you guys are biting real hard off of Into the Spider-Verse, because that's what the fuck Kingpin was trying to do with his wife and
hey,
kids.
Look, man, it's all okay. Marvel. Look, relax, Marvel, man. It's all Marvel.
What I'm saying is, you trying to go steal another version. So in my head, I go, well, if Wanda is still in mourning and has never really gotten over Vision, there may be a part of her who's like, either A, trying to save her kids, whatever dimension they may be in, or B, might also be, or it could be one of those things.
Well,
too.
I'd say at this point, we already had WandaVision where she had both, and she lost both, So if this Chavez chick can help her at least get one of those things, like imagine losing both your parents, but then somebody has power. All right, I can at least bring my mom back. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck the world. I mean, we even seen fucking Barry Allen do it on The Flash. Motherfucker said, fuck everybody else. I'm going back to bring my mom back to life.
Here's the thing, too. I'll say this is where things can become very interesting besides just like, oh, I just want to do this. What if, again, going back to the voices in her head, because she's getting deep into the Darkhold, which fucking Agnes warned her about the Darkhold in the fucking WandaVision, but she's not going to listen. And that's why we're going to get the Multiverse of Madness, which is personally what I feel like what's happening here is Wanda is being influenced by the Darkhold, by the actual creature that's in the fucking Darkhold to try to help her. And what what the Darkhold is going to tell her to do is, hey, you see that chick over there with the star on her back? Give me that bitch and I'll give you your kids. Like, not in a straight up, I don't think in a straight away.
Well, no, not in a straight up way, but yeah. Or subliminally, that's what she could be doing and not realize.
Correct. And then what's going to wind up happening, because now it goes back to again, we're making our own movie here, but.
And then too, the part of the trailer where we see Doctor Strange has the book and he like kind of astroplanes all the different dimensions and stuff. And then at another point, we see him close it. I feel like, what if Wanda fucks everything up? So now he has to reopen this shit and go back in. That's that could be it too.
It's just so much there. I just have a feeling that whatever the dark energy is that's a part of that book, we already know it's not good. And my theory is that whatever that dark energy is, I think it wants America Chavez, because she is a key to being able to dimension hop. And that's a very powerful thing to do, to be able to hop between dimensions and do whatever the hell you want. Now, the problem
so she's basically Sarah Connor in Multiverse of Madness. She's like, got to save this chick at all costs because the future depends on her.
Exactly. It's like you got to keep her going. Now, here's the thing that I have a little bit of. Here's a thing that I don't have an issue with, but here's another little theory I want to throw out there. What I find to be very scary was when you have something like that going on. You know, in storytelling, usually what happens. I'll ask you this. What normally happens when you have a really dangerous power that's held by somebody? And goddamn, if this thing were to fall into the wrong hands, what normally happens, Ronnie?
Fuck ton of chaos. Like, oh, you mean
it
like
falls into the wrong hands? That's a simple answer.
You mean like when Thanos got all the fucking gems? I mean, all the stones. Like,
so think about it like this: who is the big bad that they've been preaching?
Oh wait, yeah, I'm using that. Like, yeah, when he got all the fucking power, he erased half the universe.
from the movies we always saw everything was a build up to stone. And the things that we were warned about and foreshadowed like a motherfucker was, if he gets the stones, like he could like wipe out half of humanity. And what happened at the end of that movie? He smiled because he did. Now the thing is
he did exactly what he set out to do, which is wipe out half of humanity.
So let me push my glasses here. Let's get a little nerdy here. What could somebody do with the power to jump between any place within the multiverse at any given point in time?
Well, first you could change time, because you're dealing with time as well, so you could change the course of events. That's one thing you could do.
So wait,
go back and maybe change some dictatorship, change it to this person, or insert yourself in there, like all type of shit.
So it almost seems like you could rewrite history into your own way. Like basically, like you could literally rewrite history in a way in which you are the Lord and Master. Like I keep looking back to Loki, and I say, wait a second. At the end of Loki, when he came back in, there was a giant statue of Kang. And I'm like, what the fuck did Kang do to be able to get a giant monument created of this guy? Unless this guy made himself like Psycho Sid, the master and the ruler
of the wood.
Like that's what this.
I mean, it's possible.
That's what's scaring me, is that I feel like we are making a slow build up to a very, very dangerous villain. Because if this guy, so I have
that's another thing too. Like when it comes to villains, sometimes like you don't know who's working for who. So what if all of this stuff transpires, and what if let's say the villains do succeed in this movie in some form or fashion? What if they are working in conjunction with Kang?
I'm gonna give you another one right now. I'll give you another one right now. What if when we see that council of people along with Patrick Stewart, Kang is on that council?
Or he's like the head of it?
And it's like, wait, no, not you. Like, we know what the fuck you gonna do. It's like he's literally manipulating people to do the things that he needs to do.
That's the other dope part about it, which is we know. Doctor Strange don't know, but we, the audience, know, because we already seen what this motherfucker told us and showed us in Loki. I know there is one. I know it's a complete speculation, but there is a tiny snippet scene in that trailer where Doctor Strange is talking opposite to someone with long hair. I was wondering if that is even Loki, and he does make a fucking cameo in this movie.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I will say, going back to that moment where people are kind of thinking that might be Tom Cruise, that might be a Tony Stark's variant, it might also be Kang. I'm going to throw a theory out there for a second.
I'm gonna say this now before the movie comes out. I definitely think it's some form of Iron Man. I don't think it's Monica Rambeau.
Personally, I have two predictions for that. Either A, Monica Rambeau, or two, the second one that I don't think we're really thinking about at the moment, because it's like, again, we're not too many people are paying attention to Kang, and I keep looking at this guy is the big bad. He's the Thanos of this new saga that we're watching right now. So what if this nigga who has the ability to time travel already, like he ain't even got America Chavez power. He just got time travel. Like he has time travel abilities. Like he can pop through time.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. What if that's Kang fighting Wanda?
What if that's Kang fighting Wanda? And what if this guy, because you also have to remember Kang is from a whole, like 1,000 year in the future. What if Kang has developed his own version of the Iron Man suit that can harness the power of the stones? Like when you snap a finger, but just literally have one suit that can harness the power of the stones. And it's like, wait, what the fuck am I supposed to do against a suit that has all of the powers of the stones? Like, yeah, nothing. Like, because it don't look like Wanda's winning that fight that she's fighting against the person.
It could also, you know what? It could also be Ultron.
Yeah, it also could be the Ultron.
I was just you made me think of that because I know there is a Brian Michael Bendis book where he does have a gold suit.
Yeah, it could be that too. Now, I will say,
and then the robots that are walking with Doctor Strange when he's in handcuffs, aren't those Ultron's robots?
Look like Ultron, but they look updated. So there's been speculation on those robots, right? So the speculation on those robots that have been going around is a couple of different things, but I'll tell you what I personally feel like those are. I have always felt like there's a couple of companies that do this. Apple's one of them. And I can say that as a former plantation worker myself.
Yeah.
You know, as a former plantation worker working at Apple, the one thing that I noticed that they do a lot in their technology is that what they do is they release things that almost act as like precursors to a future thing that they're doing. So what they're trying to do is basically prepare your hand motions or prepare your mind or prepare whatever you're trying to do for something that's going to come in the future. And it also allows them, Disney does this as well. Disney does it with animation. Disney will take animation and create certain actions and animations that they can reuse over and over again after they spend months making this one thing work. So taking it to Marvel, those particular bots, the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw those wasn't even Ultron. It wasn't even anything else. It was if Reed Richards is a part of this, like he is in the comics, is a part of this form of Illuminati. What it looks like to me is those things could be Doom bots. Like, I don't think that they're Doom bots right now, but I think that this is a preparation for Doom bots. Like, we're going to get Doom bots in the future, which is like the other robots of Doctor Doom. At some point, we're going to.
And do you crap your pants if one of the council members is Reed Richards?
Oh, my face just melts into my shirt, and then Reed. That's literally what it is. Now, I will say that I don't think it's a great idea to introduce the main MCU version of anybody on this council. I don't think this should be a first appearance of anybody. I think this should be a variant show all around. But what I will say is that I personally feel like one of the big Easter eggs that I haven't heard anybody talk about, so I'm going to point it out for myself. In this trailer, when Doctor Strange is walking up the stairs with those Doom bots, aka Ultron bots, aka robots, there's a giant fucking statue of a guy with a sword, and it looks like it's a giant ring. So It seems to me like that could be a great symbol that the MCU creates, and it looks to me like a symbol of like the protectors of the sacred timeline, because the sacred timeline was basically the giant ring, like the ring light I have over here. The giant ring, it looks like a guy with a sword in the ring. Like, my job is to protect.
Oh yeah, we didn't really know what that statue was. Yeah, that's true.
Correct. So my theory on that ring is that is the logo of these people, and I think in the MCU the Illuminati is going to be essentially the real TVA. That's what I think the Illuminati is in the MCU. They're the real TVA, which is why I think Kang is on there too, because Kang basically, in order to, so this is how true strategists work. If I'm Kang and I'm an ultimate strategist, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fake version of the organization that I work with, so that when you take down the fake organization that I work for, as a hero, you go, I took down the bad guy.
Oh, kind of like the Umbrella Corporation, because every time they think they took them down, these motherfuckers somewhere else entirely. Sitting on a council, like, sitting on a fucking... Yeah, how many times, like, Umbrella been taken down, and then they're, like, in Japan somewhere else, like, so our East quarter is down. I guess we have to remake that one. Okay, and they're just going on with business as usual.
But I would say I agree with that, but take it a step further. If you take it a step further, what if Umbrella was an organization that the real bad guys made to give you, the hero, somebody to fight? But there's a whole fucking organization called
that sounds like some shit Mysterio would do.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole but that's what the Illuminati did. The Illuminati was so far removed from what was really going on. It was like, hey, look at my hand over here. Look at my hand. But while you're looking at my hand, I'm slowly putting a gun to your head, and you don't even know it. I'm about to blow your brains, and you're just looking at my hand. Look at my fingers. Count my fingers. And
makes
boom.
Sense.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense. That would be a perfect tie-in for Loki if we found out that that's what Patrick Stewart is gonna tell him. Like, like this fucking the TVA or whatever is just a cover for the real fucking TVA.
Because the real power comes from the people you don't even fucking know exist. Not to get political, but when it comes to like presidencies and mayors and things like that, the real power, like I'm gonna go ahead and quote Papa Pope here from Scandal. Real power, son. Real power is unspoken. It's not some shit that you got to say. I have to tell you that I'm powerful, I'm not powerful. Real power.
No, I get that. You mean like, I use our mom as an example. When we were young and we acted up in the store, she just give us a look, and then you just stop doing what you were doing. That's called
when you're in school and you
that's called real power.
Real power is when you're in school and you're concerned about what she would do to you if that teacher calls her.
Yeah,
that's real power, son. Yeah. That's real fear.
She ain't even talk to you. She ain't seen you, and you already scared. Like, no, please, I'm off the floor in every room in the school.
You don't even want that kind of smoke. You don't want that smoke. That's a whole other problem right there. So that in itself, to me, is, I personally think the Illuminati in this particular series, in this MCU, is not going to be the characters exactly as you see them there, which we've already seen. The MCU loves to, I'm gonna just be frank with Disney is a business first, right? They're business first and an entertainment company.
No, wait, let me correct you. They're business.
They're about their business.
They're about their business.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't know what the legalities of this is, but I feel like one of the reasons that these guys like to create an MCU version of their things is that it allows them to get away from having to pay somebody who made some other shit in a book. Pretty much.
Well,
it's a reality thing.
Unfortunately, that doesn't just go on in the wonderful realm of comics. I'm sure that's novels and everything else. You know what? If we don't even call this book Jellytown, we ain't got to pay Markell shit. At the end of the day, yeah, that is, it's not the best business, but it's business.
I personally feel like that's you can look at so many different versions of what's going on. Like, think about the Young Avengers. So far, we got like multiple people from the Young Avengers, but it's not exactly the Young Avengers, because where's Hulkling? Where is Wanda's kids? Like, where is Iron Lad?
Well, it's got to be believable too, and then who knows? Maybe those people will come in the future, or in different variations.
We'll get them in some kind of way,
because definitely now that we had the Hawkeye TV show, we could definitely have the West Coast Avengers at some point. if they wanted to do that.
I mean, clearly we're gonna get the West Coast Avengers at some point. I honestly believe that they're gonna do a swerve on us, and I feel like something's gonna happen in which Kate Bishop, which I believe she's like his mouthpiece, she's his mouthpiece. She is going to encourage Clinton Barton to be a leader of an Avengers team that's basically supposed to go and like take on some shit and become the Avengers. The only thing that I'm kind of hoping that they don't do, but I know it's possible for the MCU to do, is I'm just kind of hoping that the next wave of stuff that comes after we finally meet the big bad and we finally know what the big bad wants and his like issues and everything like that, is that we don't necessarily get like something they sometimes do in a comic is like the villain wins, and then what basically happens is because the villain won, we get this whole alternate timeline of a thing that happens, which allows them to explore a lot of things, but then you snap a finger and it's just back to normal. Like it just seems like it's possible and it's a game changer, but it's also like, as a comic nerd, I feel like I've seen this. So I'm just kind of
I mean, I feel like I say this a lot on our show, which is, I don't see them doing that. I see them entering new territory, and they've proven time and time again. Like, it's funny, like we're making all these speculations, and I feel like we're gonna walk into this movie, and it's gonna be totally left field. Like, holy shit, what they doing? So they just going, okay. So y'all just going, okay. Oh wait, it ain't gonna stop. I mean, remember when I think I saw Spider-Man No Way Home before you did, and you were like, "When I like, how is it?" I'm like, "Man, listen, you just gotta watch it." You're like, they in the movie yet? They in the ain't no cameos with the villain. They in the movie. Like so, at this point, they just got me sold that I think that whatever they do going forward. But I do feel like Doctor Strange is going to be the dark. It looks like it may end up being one of the darkest MCU movies so far. Like it doesn't look like all sunshine and rainbows at all, like some of the other ones.
I agree. I think it's definitely going to be. I think it's definitely going to be a start to something really, really, really bad for everybody.
And hey, maybe I know we as we learned in No Way Home that Doctor Strange isn't the Sorcerer Supreme. Maybe he becomes that again in this one.
You know what happened? You know what has to happen for that to happen, right?
What?
Wong has to die. You don't become the Sorcerer Supreme because you just chose to. The Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, that's right. But I mean, I don't rule that out either when it comes to like movies with so many stakes and stuff. Like it just makes so much sense because like the good guys ain't that fucking perfect. Somebody, you're gonna have casualties. It just would suck if Wong dies now because he's been the one telling Doctor Strange not to do half of this shit in the first place. That would be fucking ironic that he wants to get it. And I think if Wong did die, they're gonna do it in the best superhero way possible. He'd probably die saving Doctor Strange.
Pretty much. I don't think he's going to die, and the only reason of that is because he just literally grabbed hold of Shang-Chi and was like, "Hey man, come here, I gotta talk to you guys for a second." And they like talking about the rings and stuff like that. So I don't think like they did.
I don't see him dying.
They did introduce Shang-Chi to Captain Marvel, and they introduced him to Bruce Banner. So
another thing I thought about, it's funny you mentioned Bruce Banner because I was thinking the other day, the introduction of Shang-Chi could also mean that we could also get Amadeus Cho at some point too. Just keep expanding the universe.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm going to go ahead and lean in for it. Okay. So Amadeus Cho's mother was in what's his face? Age of Ultron. She was that Asian doctor that was working on Ultron's body. Just slide back for it.
Oh, cool. Who the hell? I mean, so they just insert. I'm gonna just put this right here. Well, that's what they do with each movie. They like, I'm gonna just put this over here.
Listen, ain't
Oh, you
nobody.
mean like how Matt Murdock just showed up No Way Home, like, yeah, lawyer options and stuff. All right, take it easy, guys. It's like, yeah, I'm sure we won't see him in the future in a Daredevil suit kicking ass at some point. Nah, why would we want to see that?
Oh yeah, by the way, for some odd reason, all the Netflix Marvel shows are leaving Netflix at the end of the month. Wonder where they're gonna.
I mean, it just makes sense. I'm like, Marvel, like, not to keep sucking on, but Marvel, they just do it right. It's like, okay, cool. I can just imagine a boardroom meeting with Feige and other execs, and it's like, okay, so we want to, hey, you know what? We want to bring back Daredevil and the other shows. They were actually decent. We're thinking about bringing the characters back. Who would you cast as Daredevil? And I just hear Kevin Feige and some other people like Charlie Cox. Oh, wait. You mean the same person? Yeah, because there was nothing wrong with that. Oh, okay. What about Jessica Oh, Kristen Ritter? Okay. Luke. Oh, just same people. Okay. It just fucking makes sense. You've gotten the audience used. If you've gotten the audience, first and foremost, it's just like it's simple mathematics, and I'm not even good at math. If you have a group of people who's like, man, I like these guys. Oh man, it's like, man, if people watch characters and they like them, and then they read in the news and find out, hey, those characters that you like, we're gonna put them all in a movie. Do you think people are gonna be like, oh no, I don't want to see? Or you're like, oh cool, that's awesome. Grant Gustin, Stephen Amell, all missed up. Even the fucking Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, all those characters were a missed opportunity to put into a fucking live action movie and have a bunch of crazy ass. And then think about it. And then when you go to a movie, you can push the limits of some shit way more than you do on a TV show. Have the effects of what happens in the movies kind of trickled back down to the show, bring them back down. I mean, maybe that wouldn't work, or are we watching it happen on Disney Plus? I'm just saying.
We can say it till
we blue. We're actually, it's funny. We're actually watching it happening in reverse because we got the movies, and now they put them on TV. Now they're gonna come back to the movie. So it's like.
They literally said, hey, come with me and give me 2 hours. I will give you about 2 or 3 movies a year. Like this is how Marvel hits you. They say, hey, come here for a second, kid. You ready? I'm going to need you to come and spend about maybe a good 6 hours a year with me, right? And I'm going to need you to give me about $15 per movie ticket for each one of those. So maybe about $45, $50, all right? And in return, I'm going to get you.
Now think about it this way too. How they get you. If you're one of those people who says, you know what, I'm not feeling this show, I ain't watching this. Now, let's say you're watching the Marvels. I'm gonna take it there. The Marvels. Don't know shit about the plot. The Marvels. And then Ravonna Renslayer shows up on that show. For us who've watched Loki, we're gonna be like, oh shit. And then the person who hasn't watched that is gonna be like, who's that? Oh, you didn't see Loki? She was the one with the thing, and it's you gotta. They tie in this shit. They're gonna make you watch this shit. Oh yeah. Oh, you don't want to watch the TV show? Cool. You're gonna miss important details. Oh, what is it? Armor Wars, Secret Invasion. I don't think that there's no fucking way that you can't watch both because you're gonna miss some shit.
That's essentially what they're doing now is they're constantly making this one long form story that they're doing where they're basically including every property, which is
can you imagine, just for a second, can you imagine if even a flashback scene, I ain't even gonna say bring him back to life. Could you imagine even if they did a fucking, especially on Ironheart, if they did a fucking flashback scene with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and he shows up on an episode of Ironheart? But you like, I ain't gonna watch that. you just miss some dope ass shit.
And it's nothing like having it happen in real time. I could tell you Having shit happen in real time is always the best, because yes, I understand the one thing that does change in this day and age because of, shows similar to this one but ones that do more spoiling. um what happens in some cases is that you'll watch some shit, and there are some people out there who will be like, hey, let me give you the Loki show in 10 minutes. And you can sit there and watch the Loki show in 10 minutes and go, okay, I'm caught up. Let me go watch the Marvels. Like, you don't necessarily have to go back and like watch the whole thing if you don't want to. It's definitely
they even make it that way with the recaps and stuff nowadays. So yeah, that's true.
I'll tell you right now, as a person who watched the last season of Game of Thrones, we talked about this earlier. I watched the last season of Game of Thrones. You know what I did? There's a video on YouTube right now, narrated by Samuel L. Jackson. It is exactly like 33 minutes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That shit's hilarious.
Explains season 1 through 7 of Game of Thrones, and I ain't never seen it, but I got enough of a summary in 30 minutes of 7 seasons that when I watched the when I watched the 8th season, I was just like, okay. I generally know who everybody is that's walking around on screen right now, and I generally know what's going on at this moment.
And I remember we had that conversation. And you're like, yeah, she's gonna become a bad guy. And I was like, oh no, she's not gonna burning city. Like, wait, what Khaleesi, what is happening right now?
I watched her face and I said to myself, oh, okay. So from the summary I heard, that girl right there is the only thing that's holding this crazy chick's sanity. She already was crazy, but there was just one strand. There was just one strand of normacy that was happening in her life that was like, I have not lost everything. I have this one thing. And when that was taken from her, burning houses.
It's still, I'll say, not talking about Game of Thrones that much, but it's still a brilliant, the writing is on that show is still brilliant, even in the shitty ass last season. Just the simple fact of taking that one character like Khaleesi and saying that this woman has been tormented since the first season. In the first season, her own fucking brother tried to sell her for power.
Just saying, man.
And she was unaware of this. She just, hey, where we going? Oh, don't worry about that. Just like, it's almost like, if I wanted from a simple point, like, oh, don't worry about that. Just get in the car. Just get in the car. Okay, where we going? You'll see when we get there. Motherfucker tried to sell his own sister to get power in a kingdom.
You know what's funny? I do apologize. I'm sitting here with my iPad, and all I keep trying to do, just because I love that scene so much, is I just keep trying to find.
You trying to do Spider-Man?
That Norman Osborn scene. Norman Osborn's on sabbatical.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's funny.
Speaking of, before we go on to something else, I know you had to see the newest episode of Abbott Elementary. Yeah, this surprise hit show that just came out of nowhere.
Absolutely wonderful series, and I love every minute.
And I love the fucking, like, the, what do you call it? Like the breaking the fourth wall, kind of looking at the cameras.
Yeah.
That shit is always hilarious.
It's the documentary style sitcom is what they call it now. It's like you're literally
but it makes so much sense because it's being told about urban elementary schools, not suburban. So a lot of stuff, it's funny because it's like a comedy, but they're speaking about real life things like not having enough money for resources and showing you, like, the principal, they could have spent all this money to get a bunch of new computers and stuff for the kids, and the principal used it to get a new sign for the front of the school.
There's just so much like stuff like that. Just, and kudos to, I don't remember the actor's name, but the actor who played Chris Rock on Everybody Who Hates Chris.
I was gonna say, I thought you were talking about the lady Quinta Brunson, because I know she's the creator. The chick, the main short chick, she's also the writer and creator of the show.
Yeah, what's funny? I first remember seeing her in BuzzFeed videos. She did like.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, she's like a BuzzFeed's YouTube star, isn't she?
I guess you could say YouTube star. She just worked for BuzzFeed, but she was an on-screen talent for BuzzFeed. That's what she was. She was basically like she was like the dude Matt from AOL. Like you saw her, she is on screen, but she works for a company. Like she has a job.
Yeah, wow. I wonder how he's doing. Holy shit. I missed that.
Run that trailer.
He said, welcome one and all to Build. Thank you for coming. I got to remember him. He was awesome.
And who was the other guy?
And my favorite interviewer that I always said looked like he was related to Ben Affleck. I forgot his name. Oh, Ricky Cavallari.
Yeah, Ricky Cavallari. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. I wonder what they're doing. Wonder what they're doing these days. Thanks to the fucking world trying to end on us.
Just a virus getting everybody sick. No big deal. Just everybody getting sick. Again, I will say that is actually a strong recommendation. We're sliding away from Doctor Strange, and we're going to get into Peacemaker coming up soon. The Peacemaker. But before we get to that, I know it's a segment that we haven't done in quite some time, just because I'm excited that I have some really cool stuff that just came in from my collection. We do a little bit of a segment on our show called Mail Call, and that basically means
Mail Call. I probably look all type of cross-eyed.
Jesus. we can see the coating on your cheap glasses. We can see that.
Oh no, that's makeup. That's hair and makeup. Gotta get a new hair and makeup person. Yeah,
it's all good. So with Mail Call, for anyone who's not familiar with Mail Call, or if you're not, this is something that is really great for the video version of this that appears on YouTube and other platforms. But for you audio guys who are listening out there, I will just describe the figures to you. So the first one that I have here, I don't know if you have any, but I'll just go through the ones I have. But
I just got one. I just got my new Riddler.
Oh, nice. We have these beautiful little figures here. Let me move it to the camera.
Ooh.
This is the Symbiote Spider-Man. Retail price of all the toys I'm showing you here is, if you can find it, luckily it's regular $22.99, which is the new Marvel Legends price.
I just got this puppy here. That's it.
Oh, nice. But if you are unfortunate and you have to go online, the current price that I'm looking at right here on my iPad for this guy at the lowest price on eBay is $70.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm going to add this bad boy. And wait, just for you people out there who don't like packages to be damaged.
Look, I'm doing it.
I'm gonna break it open.
Why you open? I mean, I don't mind doing it because I'm an in-box and out-of-box collector. But look at that. Ooh.
I like the glasses. That's pretty cool.
And the tape and stuff. Ooh.
Oh. It's like a trash bag on his head.
Yeah.
And he's really got tape in his hand. That's hilarious.
I'm still sticking with my theory. Like, what if this guy is not even the Riddler? That would be hilarious.
That would be a great twist of this movie. I really hope this movie if you have the Riddler in this movie, I'm gonna tell you right now, if this Riddler is not equivalent in some kind of way to like a young Jigsaw, then I'm sorry, he's not a good Riddler. Because
I'm sure someone's gonna die because Batman's gonna think he has the upper hand and he don't.
Here's another Spider-Man one. Most of the ones I got today are Spider-Man related. This is the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Reilly. Another one that retails at about $60 on online. Retail prices, just the bare basic there. And then finally, the last Spider-Man I got here is the Iron Spider-Man, or Armored.
Shit, that's awesome.
Which, now, here's the reason. I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm a toy nerd. One of the reasons why I got this one in particular is somebody actually, convinced me to get it. So, particularly when it comes to action figures, some of the ones that are the most popular are usually the ones that have what's called a new sculpt. Do you know what a new sculpt is?
Nope.
Okay, so a new sculpt, I'll bring it a little bit closer here. If you look here, the new sculpt means that when toys are made, this is just a little me doing my toy nerd stuff. when a toy is created, what they try to do, let's say you're making, I don't know, I'll just grab another action figure I got over here. Let's say, actually, I'll use this one.
Are you talking about like the molding? Are you saying like so another toy wouldn't have the same mold as this?
Correctamundo. That's a new sculpt. That basically means that, like, for instance, this sculpt here of Johnny Storm is not a new sculpt, because if you look at, I got another character over here that has the same exact sculpt. That's Johnny Storm. That's Magneto. But that body is just pretty much the same. So all they do is they use the same mold, they repaint them, they do some little like effect on them or something like that, and that saves money for the toy manufacturers when they're producing these things. So when you do get a new sculpt, that's an awesome thing for me as a collector, because you get something that they actually went, oh, I had to spend a little bit more time to make this thing. And then when you look at certain sculpts, you'll never get another one like this, particularly because it's kind of a one and done thing, because you're not going to keep making like that particular mold. Like another person who had a mold like that had a body was Riri Williams, when they made her Marvel Legends toy, because her sculpt was a female Iron Man. There's no female Iron Mans, that they've made action figures for in her size. So she's a brand new sculpt that in the future, if they wanted to make another female Iron Man toy, they could reuse her body, pop her head off, put another head on, boom, you got yourself another Iron Man. So that's where the companies get to save money and do that. But for collectors like myself, that's awesome to get new sculpts. I will be cracking those packs open, and they will be going over into my Spider-Man collection right over here. I'm only missing
Did you ever get Hobgoblin?
Spider-Man 2099.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got Hobgoblin.
Yeah, I still have Hobgoblin, but I still have Hobgoblin in the pack, because I'm gonna have to make a new display for Spider-Man villains, and I don't have enough Spider-Man villain toys in order to make a display. So what I do for those is I keep them in the pack until I can get enough. So I need to get, right now in terms of villains, all I have is Shocker, Green Goblin.
Did they make Doc Ock in that form?
Yes, they made Doc Ock. He's retails at about, on eBay, he's about $120.
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah, he's an older.
Look, that's pretty cheap. I'll give me 2 or 3 of those.
Enjoy. I will get that shit when I catch it on clearance somewhere, or go to one of those websites and get them. But I just say that, like, again, get off toy, like moving away from toys. But again, I personally, for my collection, I have like X-Men, I got Spider-Man, I got Batman, but those are some of my biggest ones. But when I make new ones, I need at least about a good 10 toys to make the actual display make sense, because I don't want to just get Wonder Woman and I only got 2 Wonder Womans and she's sitting alone in a fucking big ass display. It doesn't make sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, so that's just pretty much my that's all I got for my toy haul. Right?
Yeah, right? All I had was Riddler for this week. That's all I got.
I got my toy haul, so I'm happy with that. Those are very big ones. Retail for all 3 of those right now. If you don't believe me, go on to freaking eBay or Mercari or Amazon and check the price. You are looking at $210 worth of action figures, and I damn sure didn't pay $10 for it. Nowhere near it. I got it for a really great price, and I'm very happy I got them. So with that said, speaking of great things, we got a chance to view the Peacemaker season finale, and 8th episode of what I would say is definitively the first time I could actually say this out loud, which is, I think John Cena is going to win a Emmy for this.
Yeah, I know you were saying that before. I mean, maybe. I would say John Cena's best body of work in film.
And the reason why I say that, now I'm gonna ask you this: what kind of, if you could give an Emmy for John Cena's character in this show, what what would you give him? Would you give him best actor, best comedic performance, best supporting character? So what would you?
Like he might win best supporting character. I don't know if he'd win the top one.
But why would he win Best Supporting if he's the main character? You can't
I mean,
win.
He's the main character, but I mean, he is amongst a group of other characters, and technically, he's not the one in charge. So technically, he's still a supporting character.
No, you can't be a supporting character in your show. That's like a show about.
No,
Batman.
I mean, technically, if you want to be nerdy, he is, because Amanda Waller is the one that's really in charge. So technically, he's not in charge. Oh well, actually, he wasn't in charge before, because the Morn guy was in charge before, and now Hardcore is in charge. So technically, he is a supporting character, even though he is the main character.
You can't be a supporting. You can't be the supporting character, and when it comes to awards, you're either the supporting character or you're the lead. That's why it's Best Actor, Best Actress. That's the leads, and then you have supporting characters.
I mean, that's a tricky. I don't see him winning Best Actor.
What I'm saying to you is you're basing it on what he is in the show. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I'm saying like I'm not basing it on what is on in the show. I'm basing it on what I think what category he'd be nominated for. I think they'd still throw him in that category.
It doesn't make sense. You can't be in that category. Look it up. You can't be in that category if you are. And if I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to have somebody tell me in the comments. But me looking into this myself in my own research, if you're gonna go for Best Actor or Best Actress, you need to be the lead.
I feel like I would be very shocked if he does get Best a nomination at all, because we know sometimes they like to snub like comic book stuff.
Correct.
But if he does get one, I would be very shocked.
Okay, but I will say that because the show literally is called Peacemaker, and because he is literally the main character, that would be a qualification for not supporting.
I could see now. It's funny. I could actually see the Vigilante guy getting a Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, really? And why is that?
Because technically he's a better character than Peacemaker.
You're talking about opinion. I'm talking about he is supporting the lead of the show, which is why.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure that sometimes they throw lead characters in that position.
They do not throw lead characters into supporting. That is the very definition of the fucking.
We'd have to go back and look through different shows, but I feel like there's been lead characters in that category before.
What doesn't make sense is it's like me taking the main character of the show called, okay, find me a time where Stephen Amell was fucking nominated for Best Supporting Actor in Arrow. It don't make sense. The show's called Arrow. Like, it's not fucking called Felicity. It's called Arrow. Everybody else is a supporting character to the main characters. Now, there could be more than one main character, like Sam and Dean are the main characters of the show. So you're not going to get one of them to be Best Supporting because they're both the main. The fucking show is about the Winchester boys. Like, that's who it's about. Supporting characters, Bobby Winchester. Like, those characters would be supporting characters. Crowley. All of those different characters would be supporting characters, because even though they might have storylines that, take up most of the season, literally the show is still about what are the boys going to do about this situation.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I just didn't think they'd put him in the main category.
What I'm saying to you is that you're basing, that's why you got to keep looking at what is the definition of Best Actor, Best supporting.
Well, we know when it comes to awards, so they don't follow that logic. If they did, it would be great, but they don't follow that logic.
No. I understand what your feeling is about it, but I'm telling you, yes, the what's actually happening in their category is when they look at shows, I put it to you this way. I don't know if you've ever watched Euphoria, but who's going to be in the category for Best Actor in Euphoria?
Probably Zendaya.
Yes, and why is that? She's the fucking main lead of the show. Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm going by the vehicle of the show. I guess maybe that's what it is. Maybe if I just maybe then if we're just going by the main person, then maybe he would be in there.
You're talking about the nigga on the poster, the guy who's on the poster that says, "Hey, guess what? This show is about me." Like, regardless of what you like about the show, yes, fan favorite of a show, Vigilante. Yes, Vigilante is a fan favorite of the Peacemaker show. That is no secret whatsoever because he's hilarious.
And and you know why I only say that? Because like what's the name? Mom, that show that Anna Faris used to be on. Anna Faris was the main character, but the person who kept getting nominated for lead actress was the character that played her mom, not her.
And that's like, what the fuck? Was the main characters of that show was the two characters, just like Sam and Dean. The leads of the show.
But the show was about Anna Faris. Her mom just
she was not supporting.
Like the basis of the show was Anna Faris.
Did she win an award? The chick who played her mom? Did she win an award?
Yeah, she won. Anna Faris was never nominated.
Got you. But what did she win?
She won Best Lead Actress. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
But I felt like her mom was a supporting character. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like sometimes they don't always put those characters in the particular category. They like switch it up.
All I'm telling you is go and look at it. If you go and look at something like How I Met Your Mom.
But yo, if John Cena wins a fucking Emmy, that would be fucking insane. Like what?
Like best supporting actor in a comedic role. The guy who's Vigilante can definitely win that role, but fucking Vigilante, like Peacemaker, wouldn't win that role. Because I'm sorry, who is in terms of the overall story of Peacemaker, who is Peacemaker supporting? He's not supporting anybody. Everything's about Peacemaker. Everything is about him. Like every storyline thread that happens, we don't give a shit about this show unless Peacemaker is that guy. There ain't no because that's his friend. So he would have never joined up with the team. So there's no Vigilante. If they no fucking team, if they didn't decide to go and get fucking him from the hospital to join up with the team, because hey, guess what? He's actually a fucking dangerous killing machine that can really help them to be able to defeat the butterflies. So
let me see. I'm gonna Google to see if there's even any Emmy talk at all yet.
We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the cutoff is for the Emmys for this year, but like again, I have that. So jumping into the final, while you look that up, jumping into the finale. So the finale brought the team that was left after, spoilers, Mern died. The team of
brutally.
Yeah. It basically brought everybody to a head. After Peacemaker, Chris Smith killed his father in the 7th episode. We're now, after aftermath of that, we're now at the point where everybody is trying to band together to go out and take out the cow.
Yeah, to go to the secret hideout, secret barn or whatever, where they have the cow.
It's cow or never, which is like it's now or never. It's a play on that. And basically, the team has to go to infiltrate the base in order to destroy the cow, which is the giant fucking caterpillar monster that's feeding the butterflies. Because without that all the butterflies die.
Which is also crazy to think that you would think that something that carries their food supply would be hidden way more protective, one, and two, that you'd probably try to mate this thing and make more of it just in case. Like you'd put in all your eggs in one basket. If it's like, oh, anything happens to this fucking one cow, we're all fucked. Like nobody thought, hey, maybe we should like try to make this thing have babies or something just in case.
I think what answers that for you is if you pay attention to the dialogue, the character, what's it called, Gunther. I won't say Gunther, but I'm gonna just use that term for the bad guy. Gunther said that at the end that they were basically trying to leave from like a bad situation. They snatched up a cow and jumped to the next inhabitable planet that they could find, which was Earth.
But they should have took more. They should have took 2 at least.
I think in a rush situation, if your house catches on fire, you're like, damn, I should have grabbed the refrigerator too. Nigga,
yo, look, I'm like, yo, grab the photo album. I'll grab the PS5. Let's go.
Exactly. Leave everything else to burn and melt and stuff like that. But it's like, damn, I should have grabbed those other things. I'm assuming that in their situation, they had a limited amount of time to find a planet that they can inhabit and
know what I just thought about just because we made up this hypothetical situation. Your house is on fire. You gotta only grab one thing. You get out, and then your spouse goes, Did you bring your wallet? Your wallet's burning. It's all, fuck, what are we gonna do now? Like, can't buy anything to eat or anything.
I'm gonna tell you right now that literally happened to me today. I went out and went out and hung out with some friends for an event, and I came back home and I changed clothes. Like I changed it to this new shirt, changed it to new pants or whatever. But I just did laundry, and I don't think I had clothes that I would have liked that weren't wrinkled that I could wear. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go out and just buy a whole new outfit. Went to like Walmart, went to clearance section, bought some new pants, bought some new jeans, snatched up my wallet, snatched up my keys, jumped out in the car, boom, I'm ready to go. Let's go. We doing our thing. And I realized that earlier within the day, I used my main debit card and I didn't put it back into the wallet. I slid it into the old pants pocket.
Oh, shit.
Pretty much went out today, and fortunately for me, I have money on multiple cards, but I damn sure ain't have nowhere near as many fucking as much money. Like when I have my main card, I'm just frivolously like, please go.
When he got the American Express Black card,
exactly.
You like that? Look, you like that Usher song? You like no limit.
No limits, baby. What you need? You want extra cheese? You want more fries? I got you.
Today he just had the credit card with $20 available.
Literally, I'm gonna tell you, I literally had something in my car that I was gonna wait until. This is exactly what I did. I literally had something in my car that I was gonna take back to the store to return tomorrow. But I was like, if I return this now, I can have cash right now. I'm gonna return this right now. And I went to the store and returned something so I can have cash. I still have my cards to like use and stuff like that, but I didn't have the main card. That I like the comfort of the main card because it's like, oh, okay, if some shit go down, it's like, yeah, well, you know what? My car exploded. I guess I'm taking an Uber to home. It's nothing. Let's do it. Let's do it. Uber XL. I'm feeling comfy.
Yeah.
But nah, not tonight. No, not tonight. I had that cash in my pocket in there. So when they was just like, hey, let's do these, I'm like, how about we don't do that? How about we?
He was like, at dinner, you were like, I'll just have a side of fries. Let me just get a Coke and a side of fries.
I just had my little $10 meal, have me a little snack, and that was it. And like people was asking me, like, oh, you ain't bring nothing home? Like, nah, nope. Now I'll go back out there myself and take care of that. But yeah, I understand what you mean. Like that, it can happen at any point in time where you forget and you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that thing, but yeah, that didn't happen. But to Peacemaker.
Last episode. Well, I mean, we can still talk about it. But what did you give it overall? 1 out of 10.
The episode or the series?
No, the episode. I mean, the series, I give that shit a 9 out of 10. It's awesome. But what did you think of this of the season finale?
I think that it was nice, but I also feel like, so I'll give it this season finale. I give the season finale a 9 out of 10. I give the show an 8 out of 10 because for me, what gives this episode, specifically the finale, a 9 out of 10 is the plot lines that I didn't think that they were going to bring around that they did, which was the plot line of economists, the plot line of like hardcore and what's her name? Otabaya.
Otabaya.
The plot line of, the extra plot line they added in there, spoilers of basically John Cena, or Peacemaker now having PTSD and still having to deal with his father, which
seems even worse than when he was alive now.
Because now all you basically did is took a crazy show and took it up a notch in terms of its crazy. So now your explanation of like, so if you're watching season 2 and you go, oh, who does Patrick, what the heck is the dude's name? The dude to play 10,000?
Is it? No, not Patrick Stewart. I say Patrick. I know his first name is Patrick. I had to look it up.
You can look it up. But yeah, Peacemaker's father, who played the T-1000 and played in a ton of other movies. I think his name is Patrick Wilson, but I might be wrong. He is now.
No, that's the guy. No, that's the guy from The Conjuring.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, Patrick Wilson is the guy from The Conjuring. But I believe this is another Patrick. You can look that up. But for this guy, you basically, if you had to describe him in a season 2, he is basically a racist.
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick. I'm sorry, I knew there was a Patrick there. Okay, Robert Patrick plays a racist ghost, an abusive father in a racist ghost.
Oh, we got a racist ghost on our hand.
So this level of crazy just gets taken up a notch because we've now taken this character who went from being a racist asshole supervillain to a racist asshole supervillain who is now being a ghost and messing with his son's head and torturing him. And
also for Peacemaker, he's not the same. He is now not the same guy he was in the Suicide Squad. Remember that guy was like, "I'll do whatever it takes to kill any man, woman, or child." But now, going through the cycle he went through in the show, he's no longer that guy. So I know that there were rumors that they also want James Gunn to not only continue the show, but do another Suicide Squad movie led by John Cena. We're getting a different, and I'm wondering if that dynamic, if they bring back Bloodsport, if that dynamic is gonna be, butt heads too. It's not the same guy, but he don't fucking know that. He's just gonna see this guy as an asshole that he wants to kill.
The dude literally killed Rick Flag, so yeah,
yeah,
it happened. Regardless of how it's like, I did some horrible shit. Let's say, the character Peacemaker fucking forced himself on some people, sold drugs, put some children into prostitution, and did all kinds of crazy shit, and then became a pastor.
Yeah, like I have changed my life around.
It's still something that haunts you and can still come back around. I think one of the beautiful things that they did with John Cena in this movie, and I give James Gunn all of the fucking applause of this for this episode. The reason I gave it a 9 was that character development in all of the characters are very prevalent in the sense that many of the characters suffer from the same things. Like, he put together a ragtag group of people who basically suffer from the same things. I don't know where he could have got that idea from, but seems real familiar. Like, I've seen a couple of movies he might have done before where he took a ragtag group of people and turned them into their own sort of like family-like structure. I don't know. Anyway, so James Gunn,
I guess one of the most emotional and saddest ones for me was dude with the glasses. I forget his name. But the guy with the beard was Anonymous.
Economist?
Oh, Economist. I thought you said Anonymous. I'm like, his name was yeah, him. When he came out of the barn and the butterfly guy was like, "Why does he do that?" And he was like, he dyes his beard because he's never had a girlfriend. He literally had to bare his soul with all the stuff that's really going on with him. And James Gunn is an asshole because, love James Gunn. He's an asshole for the way he wrote Economist's character in the show. Because after putting him through all that, the fear of getting fucking killed when he went to put the helmet in with the fucking cow and everything, he comes out, and then when they're gonna go out, him and Adebayo to go in to help, he falls and breaks his fucking leg, and I'm like, "You're really?" And he's like, "Ah!" and it was like the fucking bone was sticking out. I was like, yo, they really fucking did that to him. It's fucking terrible.
And he like crawled to like help. It was just,
and that was kind of unbelievable. How the fuck did he get over there that fast with a broken leg? That shit wasn't believable.
it was not believable at all. That was the most unbelievable thing of this series. But what I will say that I thought was funny was the fact, or actually a really nice piece of like, let's bring it back around full circle. You have all of the characters basically bearing their souls by the end of this series. They're all their own characters who are like trying to hold on to something. Like the Peacemaker himself is trying to like really boast this like tough masculinity thing that, you know, this toxic masculinity that was taught to him by his racist supervillain father, which is just hilarious to say. But he's trying to like boast all of this masculinity, this toxic masculinity out there, because he doesn't really know how to deal with his emotions or anything like that, because he never did. He just made a vow and just stuck to the vow and then never did anything else. And you have Vigilante, who, you know, comes sort of full circle. And then you definitely have Otabaya, who decides to out Task Force X, which is funny.
Oh, yeah, out her own mom. That's another great thing I love about the show as a whole, is like usually when you get a show like this, you don't get cameos by the major actors from the film because of budgets and stuff. So I was not looking to see Viola Davis or anybody else at all. And then they just straight up appear and you're like, oh shit, like they're in it.
Yeah. What you got to realize is that for these guys, they've done contracts to appear as this character a certain number of times. And even if it turns out to be a 5-minute segment or a 60-second segment, that's like, what the fuck? Like, that's it? That's all you get? You know,
that's all we needed. That cameo at the end was like, it was everything. I was not expecting that at all. I thought we were just going to see, and I'm talking about after they saved the day and they killed the cow and John Cena's carrying hardcore and the fucking Justice League shows up and you're like, oh shit, Justice League. And I'm thinking it was going to be like Shazam, where we just see the silhouette of them. And as I'm literally telling Jill, oh, they're not going to put the real actors. Oh shit, it's Jason Momoa. It was literally really Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
And I mean, I'm gonna put it to you this way. There's 2 reasons you got that. The main 2 reasons you got that is the number one. I would say the number one answer on the board is the Flash and Aquaman come out this year.
Well, so I think in a sense they still want you to know this stuff is connected too.
Yeah,
because maybe in this maybe from the shitstorm of bullshit that they started off with this, I feel like somebody in the executive room is thinking with the success of Peacemaker, and I know that they said they're making Wonder Twins getting a live action treatment. If that's good, I feel like they're gonna try to keep this DCU going. You know what I mean? They're probably gonna try to, all right, let's see. All right, let's throw another Superman movie out there that's attached. See if we could, you know, and then they'll do like, you know, a lot of Hollywood things do and just pretend like that other stuff didn't exist. Did you see that first Superman with Henry Cavill? And then the exec, if you're talking to an exec, they'll be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? The Superman with Henry. And then you just get like passed out. They drag you away.
The second thing I would say that cameo did was, outside of Peacemaker, what it did was, this was it without realizing it, this was a shot at Marvel. This was a shot at Marvel, and the reason I say it's a shot at Marvel is very simply put. This was a small part of something that was in Ant-Man. If you remember, there was a moment where Hank Pym was talking to Scott Lang, and Scott Lang literally said, maybe this is a moment where we call the Avengers. And something that the MCU has done quite a bit without us really paying attention to it, as much as we love them, has had these crazy ass events happen, and yet not a single Avenger appeared to try to do about these events. So basically, what they're saying is, if some fucking giant alien, is doing something in some small ass town in America, the Justice League live in America, and if everybody don't show up, at least a few of the members of them will show up to handle
somebody should show up.
Somebody
Anybody.
shows up.
Even if they do show up late, because they showed up after they already saved the day.
Correct. They showed up late to the situation. But that is also, like I said, that's a shot to the continuity of Marvel, which is
I won't call it a shot because we both know they're not on the same level at this point. And I love DC, but I feel like it's more like I think Eminem said this best. This is like, say you got me in your scope, but you grazed me. Fuck yeah, maybe they grazed him, but that's about it.
It is a direct like, hey guys, in our universe, our big bad heroes don't think, it's kind of like even the Eternals, where we started talking about this, bringing it full circle. Like, the thing that they had to even address in the trailer of the Eternals is, where were you when Thanos was snapping fingers?
We were told not to interfere. Like, okay, I guess, guys. So you and the parody version be like, so you guys are a bunch of assholes then. Okay, cool. It's like, wait, because you broke the rules to do what you did at the end of this movie, but you ain't break the rules to save everything else. All right.
Once again, if you had a show, there could have easily been an episode where, do you remember when the movie started in the Eternals and the Celestials had to awaken them basically to activate them? They were basically like the most advanced action figures you've ever seen in your life. They all have powers, they can do things, and they act and look just like humans and stuff, but they're not human at all. They have unbelievable powers and they have godlike powers. And if they were just basically not available, like they were just sitting on the shelf, and then they were made aware later of what happened with Thanos, problem solved. Oh, Eternals weren't actually active because they don't have control over themselves. They are controlled by the Celestials until they figure out how to break that control, and now they are fighting against the
Celestials. There's a little bit of flaws in that, because I'm still like, wait, how did Angelina Jolie and them get away? But then Aeshram like just snatched everybody else up, but they got away? Was it because they're in the ship? I don't know. But then that don't even make sense, because he woke him up in the ship. So I'm really confused by that. But I'm like, you know what? I guess I just don't think too much into it. But
I want to say that I do want to say that with that, I believe that the Celestial in that sense isn't powerful enough, in my opinion, to just magically appear wherever the fuck he wants to. I think that he has the ability, what it looks like to me is that he can come back and snatch them up off Earth. But if those toys, like, think about it again, if they're action figures, if your action figures are at home, and let's say you got a tracker on them in your home using your home Wi-Fi or your home connection, and I come to your house and I take them all the way to another part of New Jersey, it may not be as easy for you to go track them down if you didn't even know I took them to begin with. Like, they went to begin with. So now he's probably looking at what's her name again? The main girl,
Cersei.
He looking at her like, hey, where are your siblings? And it's like, okay, you don't know.
Which was also, when I think about it, pretty ironic, because they had the Jon Snow actor guy in there, and the main chick that he was in love with was Cersei. It's like that was his sworn enemy in Game of Thrones,
which is cute. I think at the same time, what it's also going back to something I said a little bit earlier, which was big companies that like entertain you and give you like these really great things that all of us love to set the groundwork for things so that when things come later, it doesn't feel weak.
Remember, I said that a long time ago. Remember, like, is it a coincidence sometime? Like, let's say if William Dafoe has a big movie coming out, coincidentally, he'll have like maybe 2 or 3 independent films that come out before that big movie. Then that movie comes out. It's almost like subliminally they want him to be in your head already.
That to me, that's a different thing than what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is in a actual franchise, they will introduce something to you so that you can be prepared for something later. The real quick thing is I believe that the Celestials was introduced in the form that they were introduced in both Guardians of the Galaxy and showing up in Eternals as a precursor to Galactus. So when they decide to dude with a giant fucking purple head with horns, that he doesn't seem weird because
you already showed us all this other crazy shit. I hope that if they decide to do it this time around, they just have him be in human form, and they don't do that at all. I mean, maybe if you want to do it like in the beginning when he first appears or some shit, but then maybe just make him human and let's not. I don't know. After maybe we'll see. Human. I feel like we'll see what happens, but it's tricky with Galactus because you're gonna make basically Unicron. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see. I'm like live action in a film. I don't really see that happening unless I guess they do it right. Because even watching Eternals with the Celestials, I was like, okay, got these big things in here. It almost seems a little weird. So yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there and see how they do
it. I hope that they don't listen to you and go, we're gonna make Galactus like a human. I'm like,
well, no, not like a human, but I mean like make him like smaller form. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to be like a regular human, but he could just, he could be himself, but like, you know what I mean? Like, so he'd be on Earth fighting them on Earth as opposed to a giant guy eating the planet. Yeah, I don't live action. I don't like cartoons. Some things translate better in comics and cartoon, but the live action Galactus, I will devour this planet. I know they're not going to do it like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's just like, I feel like you get that, like, bring me planets devour, and then I feel like, what's the Dr. Evil? Right. Like,
I don't know about you. All about the big ass dude with the purple head.
With the purple head, it's all about how they do it. I mean, they've done the great job with Thanos. I thought before I seen live action Thanos that would probably they'd probably look stupid when they do that, and they did that perfectly. So, but that's what I kind of mean. I mean, like if they're thinking too, like I don't know how the whole big outer space thing's gonna look. If they wanted to make him just a big ass dude like Thanos, I feel like I would accept that too.
I'm gonna say I understand what you want there. I personally don't want that. I personally want the Galactus, like every Galactus that that comic fans know, comes from this otherworldly thing that is a threat. If he's like a 10-foot tall dude, it's not as much of a threat as if he's a freaking 100-foot dude. Like he's a threat because then
to me too. Because also then how do the heroes fight this giant person too? You know what I mean? Like because then I don't know. I just feel like I guess we'll find out when they do it. But like, yeah, because how believable does it look too with the heroes trying to fight this giant thing? Because like think when they were even the big ass spaceship in Endgame, when they were trying to fight just a spaceship, it's like just the way things look. I guess we'll see whenever they decide to do it. Because I can see him, because I can see an after credit. I can see even like backstory. I can even see them doing it in the beginning. He comes, destroys stuff. But how long do they do that through an entire event of scenes in a movie? He's just this giant guy out in space. Like, I don't know how that works.
I will say that I feel like in the comment section, if you guys want to skewer Ronnie for disrespecting the great Galactus, you have my permission.
Because think about that. Even with the Transformers, how would Unicron look live action? Like it probably will look dope, but then how dope is that on screen for a long period of time? Is it still dope, or is it like, or do you run the same thing like with the Destructicons? Because that was like, oh man, they're making live action Destructicons dope, but then it wasn't as it kept going.
I'll tell you why it wasn't, because very simply put, Michael Bay thought he was going to add a little space of humor into it, but it just turned out to be stupid. Which is when they made Decepticons, they took the ball and chain that you see on the construction and decided to tie them together and make them into testicles.
Yeah,
like I get it, I get the like sense of humor in there or whatever, but it was like there's certain points, like that's one of the things I'll say that was really great about Peacemaker, that I think they did a very good balancing act of comedy and seriousness.
oh yeah, my favorite episode was the one where John Cena just fucking was like blasting fools and taking names. He just walked in. What was it? Adebayo asked somebody a question. He just blew her head off. Like, yo. But I feel like I can never talk about Peacemaker without giving Kick-Ass the credit. I feel like without Kick-Ass, there's no Peacemaker. That's just me. Or even to take it to James Gunn, I feel like even without Super, there's no Peacemaker. Because Super with Rainn Wilson was fucking retarded. Shit.
I think it definitely has James Gunn written all over it. I think the important thing for this particular series I found to be very interesting was the final decision that John Cena made in terms of not joining up with the Butterflies in the end, because basically what the Butterflies represented for him in that moment was his father, or Amanda Waller, just another big organization with an agenda who wants to use him to get their agenda across at any cost.
Yeah,
which
any cost.
Basically the whole gist of the show is really questioning his whole peace vow that he's made, which is like, I'll kill anybody, for the sake of peace. But what he never realized until the end of the show, and he still has to work on it, is he is dealing with the fact that all of the agendas that he thought he was doing for himself, from the very moment we met Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad movie, he's always just been doing some other person's bidding. Whether it be his father, he literally killed the person as a kid, Amanda Waller, you name it, he's always under somebody else's supervision.
And he also doesn't make any peace at all. Like, his name is ironic because he's never at peace and nothing he fucking does is peaceful. Correct. So it's hilarious.
Horrific things and blows heads off of folk, and he's doing it all in the name of peace, which
they did a fucking awesome job from the first episode where he was fighting that naked chick he had sex with who was a butterfly, to the last episode where he launched Adebayo into the fucking cow with the. I felt like that was his payback from her for her planting the diary too.
That was literally a payback for that, but at the same time, it was so well crafted because he's standing there and you're thinking for a second, is this guy really gonna work with the Butterflies? And he just goes like, activate torpedo helmet, like human torpedo, and she just dizzy, and she just flies over and like smashes into the fucking cow and kills him. And I'm like, what a horrible
killed the shit out of that cow.
Good shit out of it. And now you are at the point where, for the first time, this is progress. For the first time in his entire life, since the death of his brother, which I think that there's a really cute Easter egg with the brother that I noticed in this episode that I didn't notice before. But the first time ever, he made a decision that was made by him directly for his own personal thing. He's basically, Peacemaker is basically the reverse of Captain America, which is Captain America's big thing in Civil War, taking it to another peaceful person who is fighting for justice and peace and truth in America way. Captain America the one thing I remember him saying in Civil War when he didn't join up with Tony was, if we sign these accords, we are basically just fighting some other person's agenda. And I don't like agendas. Like, that's what he's saying. Like, I don't like agendas. So every single thing that the Peacemaker has done from the time that he killed his brother by accident, or even before then, before even killing his brother, he's always been under the guidance of somebody else's agenda. And he's basically the blunt instrument that is basically forcing this quote unquote peace upon other people. Hey, that hard drive needed to get out. I will fucking murder Rick Flag to get this hard drive out. Like, whatever it took. He was going to murder Rat Trap. He was going to murder all of them.
He was going to kill all of them.
He would have murdered every single one of them. He did try to shoot Idris Elba as well, but the bullet went through his and shot him in the neck. So he was, again, still with Amanda Waller in his head, still with somebody else's agenda in his fucking head. So that means that for the first time he made, and that's what the beautiful thing in terms of writing for James Gunn, and I applaud him for it, was he had that conversation with Adebayo where he was like, why did I stood there and I heard her offer to you, like, why didn't you choose to go along with the butterflies? And it was because it was that he knew that she was going to hurt the people he actually cared about. Real people that he actually made a real bond with, which is something that he has not been able to do very well in his life. Think about the Suicide Squad. Who in the Suicide Squad did he bond with? Nobody. He didn't bond with anybody. The dude got murdered and like almost died because
except for Harley. Harley tried to bond with everybody, but everybody thinks she's fucking crazy.
Just saying, like that, but
because that's one of my favorite parts at the end when she's trying to bond with Idris Elba and she calls him like Melton. I think she called him the wrong name.
Like, I'm not Melton.
Like, I'm not Melton. Like, yeah, you are Melton. Like, no, Melton died. Like, Melton died. No, you're Melton.
Which is interesting because like I love the little ditziness that they make of her, but at the same time, I hope that if they continue to go down the road of doing singular movies with her, that she does develop a lot more. Like I like her. And
I think a sequel they'll do better than the first one.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's my, again, overall series 8 out of 10. Series finales.
I gave it a 9 out of 10 just for the opening sequence. Me and your wonderful niece sat here. You know me too. I remember you asked me this a long time ago. You listen to the theme on every episode? Yep. When we sit here and watch Stranger Things, I'd be like,
if you guys want, let us know in the comments. I would love to, because I've watched it like at least like 2 or 3 times. And if you go back and watch that intro, the intro is actually an explanation of the show completely. It is literally an explanation of the show. Like the dance number that they're doing, if you watch everything and break it down, you can break down, like, I'll just give you a little piece. So it starts out with Peacemaker.
I'm like, is that a real thing? Because I'm like, I thought it was just a dance number they're doing.
No, it is the breakdown of the show. Think about it for a second.
Is that something that James Gunn said?
Well, yes, James Gunn has confirmed that there's a hidden meaning behind the actual intro of the show.
Oh, okay. Because I just thought it was a stupid dance jingle, but it's fucking hilarious.
It's not a stupid dance jingle. If you go back and watch it now, I'm gonna explain it to you real quick before we end the show. If you go back to it, some of the beats you want to pay attention to. One major beat that it's got to be like a red flag if you've now watched it all the way to the end, which is there's a moment where all of these different people come around and they're around Peacemaker, and then he pulls out his gun and then he points it at the camera, and then the next shot is his dad standing there.
No, and I never pay attention to any of that. Me and your niece, we just dance in front of the TV. I'm not even looking at the screen half the time when I'm watching. I'm just like, do you really want? Do you really?
So now when you go back and pay attention to it, because wait, let me ask you this: where does Judo Master come from in the intro of the show?
He comes like at the end from like the right side of the screen.
Yes. If you go back to the show and look at it, Judo Master always appears as a surprise to them.
It's almost the only scene that he's not eating Cheetos too.
Well, yeah, he's not. I mean, that's the intro, but that's what I'm saying is they literally show you he's always popping up from somewhere. And if you go back to the show, he pops up. He pops up when you first meet him, when they're trying to snipe the family in the beginning. He pops up and kicks John Cena in the head. He pops up again in the moment where John Cena's out in the looking around like rematch, motherfucker, and he jumps off.
I would say that's a good observation. I didn't pick up on none of that.
And another time he popped up is when literally Mern just died, and there's Adebayo and Hardcore standing there, and he pops in and literally fights Hardcore. Like he always just pops up. So he pops up in the intro, and then you look at like the dance number of like you see like Mern and you see Mern and Hardcore show up, and they're doing the dance, and Economist is like kind of just like in the background doing his own thing, but they show Mern go up like this, and then he goes all the way back, and then now Hardcore comes up front, and she stays up front. It's like, oh, so Mern dies, and she now becomes the person that's in charge or whatever. And I just like, there's like all of these.
I say like good observation, because I didn't think about
nothing. Even Vigilante, if you look at like now looking at the end of the show, sorry, just flying us getting the gnat away. If you look at the end of the show in the intro where Judo Master is sitting up on like John Cena's shoulder. If you look at Eagly, if you look at it, it's all designed again because John Cena is the main character. John Cena is standing there, and there's pillars. You have Eagly up front because that's his best friend. And if you remember at the end of the episode, he said, "Don't tell V, but I actually consider you my BFF over Vigilante." If you look at the dynamic of them on when the show ends and they show Peacemaker or the intro ends, Adebayo is on a platform that is higher than Vigilante's. He's in the background, but it's higher because for Peacemaker, it actually like means that she's higher in terms of importance to him. Like he understands that she's also a person who literally has a shitty parent who's forcing her to do something that she really doesn't want to do. And in the end, they both say fuck to the middle finger to their parents. Like they both own up to being who they are. And it's like, I think unconsciously for him, I think that he made the decision in the end as well, based on, remember in the beginning of the episode, they were Vigilante and I was going to say John Cena, Peacemaker is fucking with her, and they doing that whole like,
oh yeah,
like,
they keep,
yeah. But then when she gets mad, she says to him like, why don't you do like something that like you want to do? Like make a decision for yourself. And I heard that, and I was just like, he's gonna make a decision for himself in this episode. Like they literally just foreshadowed him making a decision that's going to be best for him.
Yo, and they fucked up so much in that episode. Remember the first time she's supposed to set off the helmet and she dropped the fucking walkie-talkie? I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Like, my hands are sweaty. And it's like, oh, Jesus. And to me, again, just kind of bringing everything full circle as we start to round down. Just to not be corny here, and this has not been said by John Cena, but this is coming from me. I personally think that the reason that this show is called Peacemaker, or he's called Peacemaker, is that in order to make peace with something, there has to be some level of acceptance in order for you to make peace with something.
Oh, so, actually, I was gonna say, what I thought you were gonna say is sometimes in order to get peace, you have to be violent. That's what I thought you were gonna say, because you think about it too. Think about it too from the superhero. Think about it from the superhero point of view. They have to use extreme violence in order to restore peace. So
what you're trying to do is do a roundabout way of saying Rambo's line, which is, in order to have peace, you must first have war. And it's like, oh.
So So yeah, there's a lot of that's cool though. There's a lot of cool hit and misses just within his name or his whole. But yeah, I didn't pick up on none of that in the intro because I swear to you, my caveman mentality kicked in. The first time I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And me and Zoe just dance around when we're watching that opening.
Think about, because as if you go back now, when you go back and watch, I told you now. I'm giving you my glasses to go back and watch it.
Like I did notice I noticed the like when he shoots and then the father. I noticed that part only because the audio changes for a second in that, and I was like, "What the fuck is that about?" Oh, that must mean. I said to myself, "That must mean something." But then I'm like, we'll just go back to dancing.
But then that's also funny too, because again, watching the whole series as a whole, even though that happens where you see his father is still dancing with him, because you realize, and I guarantee you, because James Gunn is a good fucking writer, I guarantee you, the moment when he gets to a place of peace in his mind with the whole thing that happened with his dad and Robert Patrick's character goes away, I guarantee you they take Robert Patrick out the intro.
Yeah, because I was thinking like season 2 is probably going to be a whole bunch of new actors dancing with them. That's what I'm thinking. It's
people,
because half of those people died, so it's ain't going to be in the sequel. I mean, in the next season.
Died.
Well, the cops, they were all in the opening sequence too.
Died and Mern died. Yeah, so
they're all in the opening sequence. So they're all gonna. They're probably gonna be replaced with whatever actors are in the next season.
Actually, you know what's funny? You just brought up something else. Again, go back to the intro. It tells you fucking everything. If you go back to the intro, when they showed the 3 cops, they showed the tall dude who played Alistair in Supernatural. They showed the tall dude. They show her partner, and they show the Asian chick. And when you literally see them, they come out like this. They go, and then they do the little flap of the arms. It's like, oh, they're all gonna be butterflies. It's like literally, they're like,
that's insane. I'm literally about to go. I'm gonna watch it right when we're done with this. I'm gonna be like, oh shit.
I can do a picture.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy too? I don't remember her name. Hopefully she doesn't see this, but we have a cousin who literally looks, on our mom's side, it literally looks like the girl who plays Adebayo's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember her name, but I know it's a cousin on our mom's side. When I saw that actress, I'm like, yo, I almost thought it was her. We have a cousin that looks a lot like that actress.
Interesting. I mean, never know. People change. I literally just met a guy I met back up with a guy I knew who within the last 2 years has completely changed, really changed careers, which is like, I was like, hey, so how's dog training going? He's like, I'm a vet tech now. I'm like, what? What do you?
When did you become a vet tech?
What the fuck you become a vet tech? He's like, oh, well, I decided, I still like to do training, which I do on the side, but now I want to help the dogs directly, or I want to help the animals directly in getting them like to be healthy and stuff. And I just like, that's an interesting transition. It's not really left field. It's just a like step up in the direction of where you want to go. Like, you enjoyed helping these dogs and training these dogs and training the adults, the humans, to be able to manage this dog when they're not around you. And now you're helping these sick animals that come in to be in better health, and still telling the parents like, okay, you still got to give them the medicine. You still got to put this thing in his butt, like whatever the hell you got to do, and I'm just like, that's interesting. That's like a nice little like transition to things. So bringing everything full circle, I think it was great to see I love the way it ended, because John Cena's not okay.
He's not okay, but it also leaves a lot to the imagination of what can come next in the next season.
Not necessarily like, I would say more along the lines of, I keep going back to it because I think it's just such an important line from a everyday life, trying to do better each day, is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And I was reminded by it in No Way Home when he said it to Doc Ock. Doc Ock's like, hey, Peter Parker, like, how are you doing? And his answer is always trying to do better, because it's a progression to like, oh, hey guys, So while the reason we're sitting here in a Zoom right now is because there's a fucking pandemic that doesn't allow us
Yeah.
in the rooms without masks for long periods of time right now that have, hurt a lot of people and taken a lot of people away and done some horrible things. But at the same time, it's like that shit fucks with not only your psyche, but like your everyday things and all those other things. But ultimately, as we start to try to come out of this thing, we're all just trying to do better each and every day. That's a real.
But
you can
but
we
also
effective before
but also at the same time, knowing James Gunn's style, I'm pretty sure the second season is gonna be like bloodier, gorier, and even more fuck ton of roadblocks to get past.
I mean, to be honest, we've already seen this guy give us. So he's done it again, and I have to give the flowers where flowers are due. James Gunn has done it once again. He's proven one of the great things about what makes a really good artist is when you go from a point where I'll give just a little piece of advice of my feeling on an artist. One thing that people aren't okay with as artists when it comes to, I don't give a fuck what kind of artist you are. You could be an artist who makes beards. I don't give a fuck. Whatever kind of artist you are, right?
An artist that makes beards?
Yeah, you just make fucking fake beards or something for a living. I don't care what kind of artist you are. Whatever you are in your artistic expression, right? One thing that a lot of people are not okay with and where people usually fail as artists is people are not okay with sucking in the beginning.
Well, no, I won't say that. I won't say that too. I would say we know that he had a lot of creative freedom. That was part of his stipulations with making the movie and the show. And I'm saying, and it definitely shows versus a lot of other stuff that we've seen in recent years with DC properties, especially movies and stuff. You can tell, and if somebody who's seen James Gunn's films before, you can tell that like if you watch Slither and you watch Peacemaker, that you can find a lot of the violence and humor that he did in movies like Slither, which is from years ago. You can still find the same remnants of stuff that he did in those in this show, which tells me there's no execs going, no, there's nobody in his way of his vision and what he's trying to do, because we know that's the reason. That's a big reason why a lot of other things that we've seen that we didn't like, because the full vision and why we didn't get Ben Affleck's Batman, because a lot of the creative visions that people have for things is tampered with a little bit. But you can tell that James Gunn, and I think I've even seen interviews where he said like, yeah, I had 100% creative control to do what I wanted with a lot of the stuff. It definitely shows.
He said that, but what I will say I'm
talking about if you go on Instagram and literally ask him, he always does Q&As right on his Instagram. If you ask him, and I remember a fan asking him, and he said like there was nobody in his way with doing the movie or the TV show.
But hear me out. There is something to sort of like shorten what I was gonna say. What it comes down to is that as artists and people are just no one's really okay with this. I'm just saying this out of my own personal experience. People aren't okay with being crappy in the beginning for a while. And usually what happens is people usually give up before they get past the crappy level. Like people aren't okay with being crappy for so long and not being able to truly express what's in here, out on paper, out in the world, visual, whatever it is you're doing. Again, if you're making
but none of his stuff is crappy.
Let me finish. You're not.
Well, no, I'm confused at how that relates to the Peacemaker.
Let me finish. What I'm saying is, in general, as artists, and it's okay. You listen to what I'm saying. All of us at some point in time, we have things that we suck. We're going to, whatever we're doing that we're expressing our art in.
I'm confused, but okay.
Listen to what I'm saying first. You're not listening. You're listen. We suck at what we do for a while. I can guarantee you, if you go to a Q&A with James Gunn and you ask him, hey, if I take you back to film school or whatever you did earlier on that you created was like one of your first projects or your 10th project or whatever it was before the shit that we know him for, he sucked. And it got to a point where he was able to get past that point of sucking. And what happens is now where James Gunn has become an artist who can have repeated success. He's now he's a household name who you can give him something and you go, shit, he did it again. This must be luck. And it's not fucking luck. It's the fact that he's gotten to a place as an artist that he's good at his fucking craft. He's got good enough at his craft that he can repeat the same formula. Like, dude, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, 3, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and whatever the fuck else he does is essentially going to have.
And that's what I'm saying, yeah. Because some people, and then you see it too as a fan. You know, like same thing I said with Joker.
Quirks. I'm talking about.
No, I'm not talking about quirks. I'm talking about when you look at a person's body of work and you've watched their body of work for a long time. It's kind of a no-brainer sometimes when you know a particular person or name is case in point, what's the name? Todd Phillips. I was the first one that said that Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm like, you just told me who was writing and directing and who was starring in it. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer that if you've seen a lot of other things that he's done.
But that's what I'm saying. The things that you're seeing that he's done, when you see these other things, yes, you are going to see the little things that, oh, this is a Sean Gunn joint, or this is a.
Well, no, I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the writing, the directing. Like I said, with Peacemaker, if you've watched his earlier stuff, even going back years and years, you can see a lot of his work. I mean, he hasn't really changed his style of the way he does it. You can still see a lot of that even in Peacemaker, especially the violence element of it.
But it does get to a point. This is what I'm saying is he did get to a point. It takes some people time to develop that point in time of a style. Like he's got a stylistic choice of the things that he does. He does like horrible things that happen to people mixed with humor and all of those things, and he tangles together. He also has shown through like 6 different projects that he knows how to do an ensemble. Like literally, this guy's fucking got 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, a Peacemaker, like that's five properties that are basically built on the same fucking backbone. It's the same thing. It's the same shit. He's not even like, that's what I'm saying is that means that he has found this thing that's like, okay, I know how to do this. And it's like, if you gave him, I don't give a shit if you gave him
Scooby-Doo,
you would give him fucking Scooby-Doo. And you can
I'm saying that because he actually did do Scooby-Doo. That's all.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Is like, okay, take that other movie too. That's 6 fucking movies with like a cast of 5 people that he does, and he goes, hey, look at what I can do with these group of people. I can tell this story with these group of people, and I can tell a story where multiple characters, like he has these things where this is why we always have this conversation in the past about tropes. But it's not about just knowing tropes. It's about the magic of actually knowing how to fucking use tropes, which is what he's done wonderfully. You could take let me see. You could take a character that ain't got shit to do with one another. What does Peacemaker have in common with Star-Lord?
Violence.
Shit. Okay, so parental issues, dude. He's got parental.
Well, no. I would also say violence because they both fight, so it's still violence.
What? How
I mean, you asked it. Well, you asked a super broad question. That's a broad.
What is a simple?
You asked a super broad question. What does Peacemaker have in common with Star-Lord? Violence. They're both heroes who. Okay. Do they both not fight people?
That's not
okay. If you want a different answer, then ask a more specific question. He asked a super broad. That's like asking, what type of food do you like to eat?
That's not. I mean,
it's like you're not gonna get one answer. I'm like, I don't know how you're surprised. You asked a super broad question.
Okay, so what does Star-Lord and was it not Bloodshot? Yeah, Bloodshot. What does Star-Lord and Bloodshot have in common?
They're both vigilantes.
Holy shit. Parents! It's the same thing!
No,
it's parents!
It's not a
it's parents! No. It's always parents!
It's not a holy shit. You're asking bro.
What does Otabaya?
First and foremost.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they got the same problem.
Listen. First and foremost, we're both nerds, and you're asking broad ass questions about characters. You're not gonna get the same answer about a two character. What's the same thing with Triple H and Sami Zayn?
They're wrestlers. That's the closest you can fucking get. There's no similarities.
Or you could say they both have entrance music. They both fight people. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're asking broad ass questions to begin with.
Okay. I thought it was a softball shoot, but okay.
That's not a softball shoot. It's not a softball shoot. You're asking broad questions.
Like, okay, you take another character in there. You could take Otabaya and Gamora. That's just there's Marvel and DC. Otabaya and what's something that they.
That's also. I mean, it's still a broad question, but you can say parent issues. You can say doing things they don't want to do. You can still go all over the place with that. There's no specific answer for those questions.
Absolutely. I will say, once again, I wonder if there's a character that is on the team that is actually really likable, but is also ultra violent in Peacemaker and in Guardians of the Galaxy. An ultra violent character who's like a fan favorite and is actually kind of funny and is not very aware of a lot of things that go on, but is also like an ultra violent person is like, there you got Rocket Raccoon, you got Vigilante. You got these two characters that on a deeper level, something else is going on with those two guys that you can't really get to, and they mask it out like it's fucking like he's not. No, I'm not. And again, let me say, James Gunn is
yeah, because I'm like you're also stating your opinion because
dude,
I'm saying because the things that I can't believe I have to explain this. The things that you like about Vigilante may not be the same things that I like about Vigilante or the next fan. You know that, right?
Wait. How is what I like? I said nothing about those two characters that I liked. I'm literally
No. I'm saying because you're giving me a list of things, but the list of things that list of things that you're saying is what you get from the character. It's not.
Okay.
It's what the list of things that you're getting is what you're getting from the character, but that's not what You got to remember that not everybody takes away.
What color is it fair?
Not everybody takes the.
He's pink.
Okay, you can't look. You know what's funny? You can't even.
What are you gonna say? Fuchsia? What you gonna say? That nigga Fuchsia?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? You can't even do that because remember all those dumbass memes with dresses and stuff, and people are like, it's pink, it's green. People don't see things the same way.
I understand. Again, I do understand.
I mean, you got to think about that. You're forgetting the fact that you walked out of Batman versus Superman like, holy shit, what I just watched. But somebody in the world, David, I'm just name one person I know, walked out of that theater and said, this was the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's like, so
Wait, who is this character?
It looks like somebody with a really bad tan job.
I mean,
it's supposed to be Blanca. That's
okay.
what it's supposed to be.
Like definitively, there's certain the point.
But that's what I mean. But you got to remember,
that's not an opinion.
But you got to remember, the things that you're saying are opinion. They're not fact. They're opinions.
Nigga, is that an opinion? Is that an opinion? Or
that's not
Blanca?
the same. That's not the same. That's not the same thing that you just said. If you're telling me if you take 5 people into a room and ask them the characteristics about Vigilante, I guarantee you that not everybody is gonna. If you took 5 people into a room and gave them a clipboard and said, write down the characteristics that you think that Vigilante has, you're telling me that when you get those clipboards back, that everybody's gonna write down the same answer.
No, but I can guarantee you on those lists, if you did a list with 10 people, I can guarantee you out of 10 people, at least one thing on their fucking list is going to be unanimous. Is Vigilante a violent person? Yes, this nigga will fucking murder you in 2 seconds. He literally went to go. He had a conversation with a dude with Otabaya and was like, oh, we got to kill Peacemaker's dad. Broke into a prison and decided to start a riot where he was going to try to fucking murder his dad. I don't know. Let's see. Peacemaker almost died, but let's see. Vigilante jumped in and stabbed him in the freaking neck because he talked about earlier there being like an opening in the neck that was like a thing that could wind up killing him, which is a nice callback. There is a definitive answer if you look at 10 people on the list and say, is Vigilante violent? And it's like, yes.
Yes, but now you're asking, now you're asking a specific question. You weren't asking a specific question before. You were asking a broad question before. That's a more specific question. Is Ronnie on this podcast? That's a more specific question than asking me about, I'll learn what's that? Hey, and then saying, hey, what's the smartest thing that Drax did? That's a broad question. Me saying that, you can literally say anything to that question. But I wouldn't. If I say, oh, what's the smartest thing Drax did? And then you say, when he was eating the chips, and I go, oh, not when he was eating the chips, when he steered the ship. It's like, okay, you didn't ask a more specific question to tell me that. That's how you interpreted that, because I literally just took 2 people and I was like, this is gonna be super easy. No, because you said what do Star-Lord and Peacemaker have in common? What do Star-Lord and you said what does Star-Lord and Peacemaker have in common? I said violence, and you're like, I'm like, yeah, that's one of many things that they have in common. That is not the thing that they have in common at all. To you. Fine. On your list, somehow you listed Star-Lord as violent. Cool. Whatever. That's all good. That's just your opinion. Has Star-Lord ever used violence? Because he literally uses violence when we first meet him. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. So he doesn't use violence. So Star-Lord has never used violence in any of the MCU movies. Star-Lord is clever. He's never used violence in the MCU movies, including Endgame when we see Star-Lord. Star-Lord is clever, but he has been violent before because he's a superhero. That's like saying Spider-Man has. What does Superman and Spider-Man have in common? Violence? I mean, they both had to get violent before. Fine. I will make sure, just to be clear, I will try to be more specific in saying what issues do both Star-Lord and Peacemaker like deal with? Like what I would say if you say like what similarities they have, what characteristic similarities do they have? When you say violence, that sounds a little more specific than just. Fine. Like I said, I will learn from this and make sure that I be as specific as possible in that situation. But I personally felt like those were softball answers that were just like, hey,
clearly we're talking about James Gunn here, who literally writes the same shit over and over again. But everybody like he did another of something brand new again. I've never seen.
I mean, you're forgetting
seven properties.
No, you got to slow it down and think. What he did was he delivered a really good TV show for DC Comics.
Again, that's on the level of
who besides the CW shows didn't have a good track record of that. That's why they're able to say, hey, let's greenlight Wonder Twins. Because with him doing that, it's shown, because it's showing same thing like with investment. Like think Swamp Thing. Oh man, I like Swamp Thing. They canceled. It's like you got to think that on the level of the fans who are watching this stuff, it's like, well, we're the ones keeping you in business, so you need to deliver something to us that keeps you in business.
To reel that back in, you have to remember this is their first straight to HBO Max show.
Yes, and it's a win column for them.
It is a win column for them.
So they want to continue that.
But it is not their best live action show or their first #1 live action show. They still have had success with Titans. They've still had success with Doom Patrol. They have other live action things. Peacemaker has such a larger fan base on it because let's just face it. If you are a wrestler of some kind and you decide to do something outside of it, and you're a popular fucking wrestler, like, I don't know, John Cena or The Rock, you're going to automatically get a fucking win no matter what you do on that side. Now, your shit's got to be good. Otherwise,
I was just about to say that. It gotta be good.
At the same time, you're going to get more viewership than anybody else because there are people who will trudge through shit and watch bullshit, even if it stars somebody that they like.
But at the same time, we will chew your ass up and spit you out if it's corny.
Chew you out. But let me tell you like this: the same people who chew out Boba Fett also watch Boba Fett to its final fucking end.
I for one, I'm not done with that show yet. I'm just about to get to what you told me about The Mandalorian. I think we're about to watch episode 4. Great show. I am not seeing what everybody else is saying. Only thing I will say is, yes, this motherfucker is not in the helmet. Yo, put the motherfucker. I think I am even thinking that to myself as I'm watching it. Yo, when is this motherfucker gonna put the helmet on? Like, he isn't mad. It must be in his contract. That actor must have said, "Oh, half of this series. Oh, you're gonna show my face because there's no otherwise."
It's those very uncomfortable white teeth.
Huh?
It's those uncomfortable white teeth.
I guess, because otherwise I'm like, yo, why is this motherfucker outside of the fucking... We see other characters in fucking helmets and shit more than Boba Fett. But, overall as a show, though, I like it so far. And another great score with the fucking the theme. I'll be waiting for that when it kick in like then I'll be like, that's another one I'll be sitting there dancing.
It's another one, man. Like I think it was a great series. I think that to me, the way that they told this story, again, I said it on another episode, but the way that they told this story was you have to realize that Boba Fett is a older bounty hunter in his older age of doing something different than the Mandalorian. What they wanted to do, just like they do with the Westerns, is they have different kind of Westerns. And, they're not all the same. The John Wayne one is not the same as
I was just about to say, John Wayne still had his fucking hat on.
John Wayne, a John Wayne, a John Wayne Western is not a Clint Eastwood Western. So
but a lot of scenes they still kept their fucking hats on. Like, yo, put the fucking help. Yo, if it's a Q&A for season 2, hey yo, put your fucking helmet on. somebody in the audience is gonna be like, hey yo, put your fucking helmet on more.
I'm gonna say this to you, and this is my definitive reason why I feel like I understand what people are saying, but if I'm being real as a nerd, I think it's kind of stupid that he would have in all of the cases in this show where he would have his helmet on. It don't fucking make sense for him to have it. I'm gonna go ahead and
okay, but let me just say this: if you found out they were gonna make a new RoboCop series with the original guy, Peter Weller, but he wasn't gonna wear the visor helmet. It was just gonna be his Murphy face from the end of the movie. He gonna look like that through half of the show. Does it still give RoboCop the same cool effect?
Your example don't make sense for Boba Fett. Let me
Wait,
break that.
eyes don't make sense. Like, if okay, you telling me that's just as cool?
Say it again.
I said you're telling me that's just as cool.
But you're making an example that's gonna automatically get you that this is not as cool, but it don't make sense for the Boba Fett you're talking about. Let me defend Boba Fett for a second. So in the early episodes, you've watched 4 episodes, right? In those early episodes, he's captured by the fucking Tusken Raiders, and now he's becoming the Tusken Raider. So he doesn't even have his fucking armor. So how would he have the armor on?
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about once he got everything established. This motherfucker still ain't. So look, if I'm walking from outside and I'm walking into the show and I'm like, oh, this is Boba Fett. Oh, okay. And you watching the show. If he don't say who he is, do you know that he Boba Fett? Because he ain't got the helmet on.
Okay, so again, that only takes one question, which is like, who is this? This is Boba Fett. Oh, that's Boba Fett. That's what he looks like under the helmet. Okay, cool. Fucking problem solved.
But if you keep watching every episode and this motherfucker ain't got the helmet on for most of the episodes, I can see like that's a 50-50 fight because I can see I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I can see as a fan how you'd be a little bit annoyed because like it's just not. It doesn't have the same cool mystique with him not having it on, especially during look. Especially
him not having
during
the helmet on
scenes.
Makes this not the Mandalorian. It's okay.
Look, especially during fight scenes. It's like there's fight scenes and he rolling around like.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing.
He just got his big milk done here. Like
here's my thing with that. So the fight scene that you're talking about is a fight scene where some niggas.
I'm just mean overall in general. I don't mean a specific one. I'm just saying like from a fanboy point of view, it would be cool. You're thinking, especially the hardcore Star Wars fans, they're thinking that, oh man, this scene would be so much more cooler if this motherfucker had the helmet on.
But the thing is, the thing that nobody wants to admit is the fact that because we're watching the second Star Wars show, and we watched 2 seasons of The Mandalorian where this nigga took his helmet off, but like maybe 3 times, we don't want to admit to ourselves that we would prefer our hero to have a mask on because we watched The Mandalorian. That's what nobody wants to do.
I won't even say that. I would say because from a fan standpoint, the mask just looked fucking cool. Like, look, I mean, if you go back to the original Star Wars series, okay, especially when they introduce characters, how cool would Darth Vader have been if the first introduction would have been like dun, 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 and he didn't have a helmet on? He was just like, all right, well, like it ain't that cool. Helmets, it's almost like that Andy Samberg thing with like cool guys walk away from explosions. It just makes it fucking cooler.
I understand your analogy, but again, it falls apart because he's like half his fucking face is gone, so you wouldn't see anything but a bald head like dude with half a face, which don't look cool.
And you're telling me, okay, even if you go to you can name any scene you want in Star Wars. You're telling me that Rogue One scene would have been still as dope if that fucking lightsaber went on and Darth Vader didn't have a helmet on?
But you keep sliding past what I'm saying, which is for all of I say this to anybody who I've entertained the conversation of people going, he didn't have his helmet on enough. And when I go back and I really sit down and
let's see people leave a comment. What's cooler, no helmet or helmet?
That's a dumb fucking answer because everybody's gonna say helmet. I'm gonna say helmet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The point? The point is every single moment in this show, unless somebody in the now, if you really want to,
I'm saying I agree with you. I get your point. I understand why in certain instances he doesn't have the helmet on. I'm just saying what the fans are only thinking caveman brain. They're just thinking this shit would be so much cooler with the helmet. That's all that they're thinking. But again, I get what you're saying. I understand. Like, yeah, logic says, yeah, this scene kind of wouldn't make sense if he's trying to crawl under a tank and he has the fucking helmet on because he'd get stuck. So it don't fucking make sense.
It kind of don't make sense for the nigga to walk into a bar where he's trying to introduce himself as the new guy if he's got a fucking helmet on because he's trying not to be Boba Fett. He's like,
yeah.
I'm Boba Fett, but I'm not the Boba Fett that wears this helmet. Because when you see me walk through the door and I got this helmet on, that's your ass. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you these pearly white teeth and this charming smile.
Well, also, I would say now, okay, now that I made my point with the helmets being cool, now I'm joining you and saying, yes, that makes sense too, because he's trying to make a bold statement because he's trying to show how badass he is because I'm telling you, hey, look, see this here? I run this shit. If you want this, you got to go through me. And he's not wearing the helmet to show you how badass he is because you know what he look like. You want that smoke? You know what I look like. Come find me.
I'm not hiding. I have nothing to hide. I'm showing you who I am. You can look at it, but also pay attention to in situations, the times that he does put the helmet on when he's in the current day, when he's sitting on the fucking throne. A lot of times he's sitting on the throne and he puts on the helmet when he's talking to somebody because now he's discussing business where somebody could literally come into his place and like do some harm to him in that particular way.
Well, I feel like those are moments to look super cool because you're trying to look like you the man. So of course you're gonna have a helmet on then.
Correct. At that point, now he's trying to go out. So he is being the basically in this. If you take this as a Western, and I know we're talking about Boba Fett, but if you take this as
all good.
It's all good. The thing that really is the thing that sticks out to me is that if you look at a Western, he is basically a old bad guy who decides to come to a town where he used to work for the original bad guy and decides I've been with some people that brought me in and made me a part of their tribe, and I know what it is to have people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lawless town and I'm going to turn this lawless town into a place of rules and structure and things like that. And I'm going to come and do it, and I'm going to try to do it based not on fear like Jabba the Hutt. I'm going to try to do this out of respect and out of business and out of, important matters to people. Hey, look, I still want to get some protection money. I still want to do all of this criminal level shit. But at the same time, I don't need no bloodshed. I don't need no fights, nothing like that. So he's a bad guy who's coming in to basically come in and be this like sheriff type person. Basically, he's trying to be the sheriff of most Espa.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense. And like anything, just like in our real world, everybody ain't gonna be on your side. Fuck you.
By the end, oh wait, no, you don't watch it yet. But like, you'll see, like he talks
like what's his name from Barry? I was like, I knew that guy wasn't. I was like, I know that guy probably comes back again in some form.
Who?
The guy that played Fuchs and Barry, the one that was like,
he doesn't come back in this season, no.
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, I figured like because he didn't agree with him when he was like, take this money for the water, like. He seemed like he might pop up in the future.
Possibly, but not in this season. I can tell you right now, he don't come back again. It's just this because they focus more on the Pike Syndicate. In this particular situation, the big bad of this show is the Pike Syndicate. They just decided to take a 2-episode break and go catch you up on Mandalorian. And I ain't gonna lie, it's 2 episodes.
Wait, now I gotta ask. Does the Mandalorian take his helmet off at all?
No, he doesn't fucking take his helmet off because he's the Mandalorian.
No, I'm not saying that like, see, helmets are cooler. but it is just a hilarious coincidence. It's like the guy who shows up and didn't take his helmet off. Everybody's like, "Yo, this shit was amazing."
Pretty much, and you know what's funny? This is not even like a spoiler or anything because you'll get to it very shortly. But he gets in trouble for when he did take his helmet off because the lady that's in charge of the lady that it comes with an awkward moment where it's like something happens that's really cool that you'll see. Something really cool.
Are you talking about the armorer lady?
Yeah, the armorer lady, which I love that. I just love her design. She's really cool. I have her toy. But she's talking to him about like being a part of the Mandalorians and this, that, and the other. And she says something along the lines of like, as a Mandalorian, you never remove your mask. Like, you know, you guys understand that, right? Like, you guys have never removed your mask. He's talking to Mando, and he's talking to another guy that he just fought that's a part of the Mandalorians. They just had a fight over the Darksaber.
Oh, and the heavy artillery dude, right?
Artillery dudes. He literally, and I love the fact that, like I said, when you watch it, I love the fact that they somehow figure out how to show emotion through the mask because they show him with the Darksaber, and it's like, you have the Darksaber. Like he says it, and he's like, yes. He's like, you know, the Darksaber has been a part of my family for hundreds of years. And he's got a mask on. He's not saying that. All he says is they just showed them the dude looking at him.
So they set that up. So they set that up to show you there's animosity there.
Yeah, and then they show Mando's mask. You know, you see him looking, and you can see the reflection of the dude just looking at him. And
yeah, I mean that makes sense. That might, because you think about a scene like that in the movie, if you're like, so you went out on a date with my wife. Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, you'd have that same effect, like, yeah, you know, this guy mad as hell.
Got mad as hell, and he wants to fight you. And then there's a moment where the armorer goes, you know, you guys have never taken off your helmets because that would be an automatic, like, dismissal from the Mandalorians. We don't do that. And he goes into heavy artillery, and he's like, yes, absolutely, armorer, I would never do that. And you, Din Djarin, like his name Din Djarin, and he's just like, well, there was a time, and there was just like, I'm sorry, but you're no longer a part of the Mandalorians. And he's just like, and like, literally, it's just like, oh shit, like Mando's no longer the Mandalorian. But then she gives him like, if you are interested in still being a part of the Mandalorians, there is a like a waterfall that you can go to that will redeem you of your sins of a Mandalore, but it's only on the destroyed planet of Mandalore, and it's underneath like the caves and this, that, and the other. It's basically like an RPG. She basically tells him, if you can go to this underwater like cave and like get rinsed by the waters.
When you're describing it, I'm like, shouldn't this be in season 3 of The Mandalorian? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm watching it
on both. And I'm like, what? Wait, what is? I think I asked this before. What is Boba Fett doing that he's not even there?
Oh, Boba Fett is preparing for the war against the Pikes.
I think that's the last episode I just watched where they were like gonna go. And he's like, we must prepare for war or something like that.
Yeah, and they do
he's saying that to Finnick.
And they play Mandalorian song, and it's like, oh, he's coming up. And then so the next episode, the fucking intro, watch the intro. It's just amazing. And then he like, it's funny because like some stuff happens, but anyway, like then the whole thing happens.
Don't tell me the rest. I'll probably watch that tomorrow.
But like that's what I'm saying. It's like, so now the Mando is like, fuck, I'm no longer Mandalorian at this current moment, but I need to go find the planet Mandalorian, which is like a half destroyed planet, and find this like river and rinse myself in it in order to become a Mandalorian again. You know, in order for that tribe to forgive him and for him to become a Mandalorian again, he must now go on this journey. But this journey is not in Boba Fett. Clearly, it's in season 3. I'm just like,
okay.
What is that the point of this fucking episode? It's literally
we just wanted to make sure y'all come back for season 3. Now you can return to Boba Fett already in progress.
Yeah, but then they go, okay, that episode's end. It's an amazing episode. Then they go like, it was funny because I was like, well, I guess we'll figure out in season 3 what happens with Grogu. And then you sit down and you watch the next episode, and then Luke Skywalker shows up with Grogu, and I'm like, and then it's like a 45-minute episode, and like 35 of the minutes is like Luke and Grogu. Like you legitimately see Luke and Grogu for this whole time.
Yeah.
And then like Ahsoka Tano and Mandalorian, and like it's just a fucking like plethora of every character.
So it's just one giant nerdgasm.
Just one giant nerdgasm of like, wait, is Luke? Let me just make sure I understand this before my nose start bleeding. Is Luke Skywalker training what looks like a young Yoda? And he's basically training him, and he's just like, oh, okay, cool. He's gonna. So Grogu is going to now be trained in the ways of the Force. Is that what you're about to? That's what you're gonna tell me? You think
maybe they're setting that up for a future season where we see Grogu fighting a bunch of shit? I don't think this the fact that you told me that Grogu is still in the show, because I didn't think he would be. It tells me that they planned. I thought that like when he left, like, you know, when Luke Skywalker took him, I thought that would be it, and I thought that like the next season of Mandalorian is gonna be a whole new story about some other shit. I didn't think we see Grogu anymore at all.
Hold on one second. Wait. This is why the fuck he's gonna be in there. He's a goddamn action figure. He makes money. He ain't going nowhere. This is called a cash cow, motherfucker. This is a cash cow. This little talking nigga here with a yeah, that little nigga make money. He ain't green for no reason. He green because he makes Star Wars money. Just remember, like, fucking, I love Grogu because, like, he's a cool character. And I'm gonna tell you, honestly, I believe that Boba Fett could have used a little Grogu character. That's just me. It could have used it just because, like,
nah, you can't repeat the same. Not like that. You don't need to. You literally just said that about fucking MCU. We don't need to see the same. Now you're saying the opposite. He could have used a little.
Hold hard cash. Let's go. Listen, I'm all about, you know, progress.
Them greenbacks for Grogu.
Grogu, listen, greenbacks for Grogu. Listen, I'm not even joking, but great. But on a side note, and I can't tell you exactly how this occurred, but Grogu got me a new car.
So, oh yeah, I mean,
I'll just leave it at that. Grogu got me a new car. But anyway, with that said, we do appreciate you hanging with us. We have gone over Doctor Strange trailer. We went over the Peacemaker season finale. We did a little bit of Mandalorian for you guys that didn't want that, haven't watched it completely like Ronnie.
Yeah, we just spoiled the shit out of it.
Dude, listen, I'm gonna tell you like you told me with Avengers. Oh, you ain't see nothing. Watch those next 2 episodes. You ain't see nothing. All I did was told you little shit.
I swear, like, if I see Doctor Strange before you, that's gonna be the same thing again. Like, yo, you think you seen something? You ain't seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing. Ain't nothing. You ain't seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing.
Nah, man, I can't do that. The Batman and Doctor Strange, I'm gonna see open tonight because I can't do the like. You know,
yeah. I'm excited. It's Batman. I'm still waiting for Batman Beyond. Fingers crossed, but
Beyond. It's just gonna be Batgirl.
Batgirl.
Yeah, Batgirl.
You know what? If y'all want to make Terry McGinnis a woman, I'll take that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Batgirl is the basis of Batgirl is basically old man Bruce Wayne is training Batgirl to be like the next Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer Batman Beyond, male or female. Male or female, but male or female, I don't care if it's a guy or a girl. But I mean, I guess I'll take what I can get. I just think that the story of Batman needs a vacation. That's it. Like, if the Robert Pattinson one is a success, all right, let's keep the train running. But if we both walk out the theater and somebody's like, "What'd you think of the Batman?" Yeah, that's all right. Then I feel like, all right, let's give a little bit of a vacation to hey, look, Becky Lynch. Look, Becky Lynch as Batwoman or Batgirl.
You're gonna Jesus. You're gonna get this one here, which she's a little tanner because she's being played by I think a Spanish lady, which is awesome. And you're gonna get this beautiful costume of her here, but it's gonna be alongside Michael Keaton. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's the costume for real?
Yeah, dude, this has been the same fucking costume forever. Same costume.
It's just, I mean, that's pretty bright. Just like you flying around at night.
You not know Batgirl's costume?
No, I'm like, you flying. I'm just saying the live action version. You flying around at night in a bright ass costume. How you hiding from somebody?
When you go on Google after you watch the intro to Peacemaker, go and check out the costume because they have the costume out already. It's not that bright. It's darker. It's like because you know how DC is. We can't have it too bright now.
Why didn't they just bring back Alicia Silverstone?
And with that said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and go to a motherfucking close. Alicia Silverstone, nigga, what the fuck?
Alicia Silverstone, we bring it back. To get that nostalgia going. Oh wait, no one liked that movie to begin with. Okay, never mind. That's probably not gonna work.
Sure, wait. Alicia Silverstone is still alive, right?
Yeah. What?
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I was wondering. Yeah. I'm like, wait, is she still alive? I don't.
Yeah, she's still alive. I would not even make that. I would not even make that joke if she was deceased. Holy shit!
Wow, that's a dark joke, man. Jesus.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone is alive and kicking.
Oh, you know what it is? I forgot. Her career just died. That's what it was.
Wow. Okay. And on that note, okay. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Ronnie and Markell Make a Podcast Show.
No, you can be a guest on the time you want.
Ignore this guy over here. Make sure you hit that wonderful like and subscribe button. Subscribe to us on Instagram.
Wait. Before you say that.
Look, wait. Let me get the Ronnie Markell Podcast and subscribe to us on Twitter. Ron Mar Podcast.
And one thing I want to say, I always find it funny that like people, I'm just gonna break a fourth wall here for a second. People always love to say, hit that button or whatever. It's just like, please don't hit it, just tap it. Like, don't break your screen.
Well, you know what? It depends. Like if your phone's dirty. I mean, if your phone's not, if you haven't cleaned it in a little bit, you might have to tap. You might have to hit it. You know what I mean?
What kind of shit you got on your phone that you can't press the button?
Like, hey, I don't know.
What kind of cheap ass Android do you use?
Everybody might have, different phone. They may not have an iPhone or Android. They may have Gamecast. So,
you ain't got I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ain't got an Android or an Apple phone, go ahead and just go to sleep. Have a good night. Have a good night. Don't even. What you doing?
Hey, don't knock people out there. Some people may not have that.
What are you using? I just want to know.
Man,
what are you using?
Listen, man, if you gotta subscribe to our show by Pigeon Messenger, I'm okay with that. Send the pigeon, and then the pigeon gonna go to the local library and tap that subscribe button on the computer. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna tell you what a pigeon gonna do. A pigeon's gonna shit on your phone. That's what pigeon ain't pressing no goddamn phone for you. What the hell you think?
Or he might show up at the library and attack everybody, and then the pigeon got to get put down. So that's the whole nother.
They don't attack people. That's a common misconception. It's kind of like black people. They don't attack people.
Wow. unless threatened. Maybe unless threatened.
Like black people.
All right. Take it easy.
We're going to hit that in button right now, and here we go. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. There we go. It was going at you. Whoop.